Yo, shout out to everybody. Shout out to Mars for allowing me to wear the black hoodie today. Appreciate you, Mars Blackman. What's going on, Chill? How you feeling?
That hoodie would be so much doper if it had player's choice on it. Just like Mars hoodie would be much doper if it had player's choice on it. But
Chill, you don't like my Debonair decor?
It would just be doper if it said player's choice. That's all I'm saying.
Nah, I got you. Big guy, your package still ain't arrived?
Excuse me?
Your package in the mail. It still ain't came? All right, I'm telling you.
I'm gonna take that as a no. I
don't know what's wrong with dude. Yo, Wes, what's going on?
What's good?
Wes, long time no see.
Yeah, man. It's been a busy life. I need to fix where my audio is coming from. I didn't hear y'all at first.
While my man Wes is doing that, I also want to let y'all know real quick. We have a new worst team in the NBA.
The Sacramento Kings. I agree.
The Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
Hey, chill. Look, chill.
Sorry about my TV.
I'm done.
You out?
Okay. I'm
out. You out?
I'm out on him. All right.
Get these. Sorry,
out on him.
What happened?
They lost to the Wizards.
My Wizards.
Your Wizards?
My Wizards.
Oh, we have a Wizards fan up here? Oh,
damn, Ox. It's funny how that works, huh?
My Wizards.
Hey, Wes, you watched the game last night?
Oh, yeah. I didn't watch it at first. I've actually refrained from watching Wizards games, but I checked on my phone. I was like, what, 10? Let me get in there. And as soon as I turned the game on, they started coming back. But we held on.
You know? That was incredible.
I love being a Wizards fan.
That was incredible. Shout out to Kyle Kuzma.
How did that happen, though? Was it Kyle Kuzma just carried?
So we'll start the conversation with their coach is not the worst coach in the NBA, and it's obvious that coaching matters. So he was running action to get Keegan Murray switched on to Kyle Kuzma on the right side of the floor, which is where Kyle Kuzma is the most effective in the mid-range. And he was just taking Keegan Murray every opportunity he got. Every opportunity he got to get Keegan Murray in an ISO, he was running action to get Keegan Murray in that, and he just went after him. Straight went after him. And they didn't rebound the basketball. On top of that, I'm watching Sacramento like, who are these dudes? Wait a minute. It's the Kings. Is it 1995? Is it 1991? Is that what I'm thinking about when I think about the Sacramento Kings? Because that's what they look like.
Why is De'Aaron Fox shooting like he's Steph Curry? What's with all the jump shots? Genuine question.
What is going on there?
The Wizards have the worst interior defense in the NBA, and he's taking 1 million jump shots.
Just not respecting your opponents.
It's just
not respecting your opponents, bro. It's crazy, bro. Yeah, that's first things first. You got to play everybody in front of you like. You know what I'm saying? You got to kill everybody in front of you. So that's first thing. Disrespecting your opponents is first thing. Second, De'Aaron Fox is, like I've been saying all season, just not being a very good floor general. You know what I'm saying? Just not being very headsy about things like that. Like you you should be in attack mode. His jump shot has improved, so now he just want to shoot. Like, bro, he can get to the rim against anybody anytime he wants. So it's just like, bro, what are you doing out here? And that's why I'm you know what, I'm good.
What up?
I'm cool.
You off De'Aaron now too?
No, I'm not. I just think like De'Aaron could be so much better. He's a really good player. He could just be so much better if he just used his brain all the time.
Better in what way, my brother?
Not right now, Swiper. Not right now.
I'm asking a legit question.
I'm not going to do this with you today, Swiper.
No, I'm asking better in what way, my brother? I just want to know, brother.
His brain. He just don't.
IQ.
His IQ leadership.
Or just
bro,
like he has lapses.
On the court, yes, on the court, he can be. I've seen De'Aaron Fox taken out of his game so many times, and he's too good for that. Like, he can get to the rim anytime he wants. He decides to take Bell out, step back threes. You know, it's crazy. Stuff like that is just crazy to me. So I'm just in order for us to be taken serious as a team, De'Aaron Fox has to take a level up in his mental game. And that's pretty much it. I don't want to go too far into it. You know what I'm saying? Who cares about the Kings and the Wizards? You know what I'm saying?
No, we care. We care. This is player's choice. We're talking real hoops in here. You know, Mars, especially when he's in his bag. What's up? What's good to meet you, brother? Haven't met you before.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, and just so you know, I am bald, so the chat's gonna bring it up. These dudes gonna bring it up, especially Chill gonna bring it up because he got them good genes. Because apparently he's the place he from got the good genes with the men. My dad got bald, so I got bald.
What's wrong with being bald? My brother bald.
Nothing. I just remember specifically when everybody was coming at me. You had nothing to say. You couldn't support me not one bit. And I'm saying that as the elder, I expected you to step up. But anyway, that's another story. Like the chat goes in on you. You say something. Chat go in on me. You ain't got nothing to say. So anyway,
did I wait? Did I not say yesterday when the chat went in on you, dude, you got some nerve? Your hairline looked like a chick running from a pimp. Did I not say that?
That was hilarious, bro. That was hilarious.
He did say that.
So
yo, hey, look, I got you. Hey, y'all chill out on my man Swipey. Y'all can't call him Boy Anthony Taylor.
I got your back.
Like,
no, I'm good. Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Ox, is like these people, again, respect to y'all, because these are mostly kids in here. These are children. They're watching this for educational purposes. They're probably in class with the headphone in, listening to this. So again, I want to respect them. But I think on the other end of this, Ox, I think the De'Aaron Fox thing is true, but I think De'Aaron Fox is just not the player as a guard that you want to be able to elevate your team, because he can be the best player in the team in the playoffs, just because I think Sabonis has some things that he cannot do well at a high level. And so I think he's going to be the best player for that team. But I think De'Aaron Fox, man, he just needs a better player around him to help him to elevate some of this stuff. And I think Mike Brown too. And one reason their offense was so good last year, too, Ox, and this year, they're playing at one of the highest paces in the league. They get a ton of shots. So I think when your pace is high, your shot volume is high. I think you just don't figure out some of the nuances of playing winning level basketball or playoff level basketball stuff. So I just think Fox is a little bit away. I'd also just think the team is away. But I think that's the difference between the Kings being a playoff team that can be as high as a 2 or 3 seed, and even maybe a first if they can get everything in line, and then coming into the playoffs and being legitimately we have a chance to win.
Right. One thing I will say though, Swiper, I believe that this year we're trying something different, because I think last year was exciting. We were scoring a lot of points, but we weren't going to win like that. We weren't going to really take a deep run like that, especially after Steve Kerr put that defense on us that I don't know how we couldn't figure it out, bringing DeMontis from the baseline as opposed to the top of the key, which is something I would have tried to do. But I think that Coach Brown is trying something new, which in the long run will have us be a better team, but at the same time not just blowing out teams that we should be beating. You know what I mean? I think what he's trying to do is show us a different way to play, but it just doesn't look as good, but I think it will make us better. On top of that, Kevin Huerter being in the way, you know what I mean? Malik Monk needs to play. And that's it. Malik Monk needs to play. And one thing too is I'm not used to Keegan Murray getting picked on. Keegan Murray is a really good defender, so it was kind of strange to me. Y'all really picking on Keegan. It's they went after that's crazy. Hey, but I think Kyle Kuzma's a good player. I don't think there's anything to be embarrassed about by Kyle Kuzma giving you buckets. I like Kyle Kuzma. I respect his game.
You know how that go though? As a defender, somebody, in the words of Chill, somebody's gonna eat your lunch. It's an 82-game season. Somebody's gonna pick on you during one. Every defender. It's not a defender in the league that hasn't got picked on this year.
Facts.
So Swiper, you're a football guy. You can appreciate this. Once we get film on you, isn't it fair to say that we have a better idea of who you are? And the reason why I'm saying that is because Sacramento, they actually play at a lower pace this year than they did last year. Not only do they play at a lower pace, De'Aaron Fox is shooting. I think he's shooting more threes this year than he shot last year. So they got the tape on
early in the season.
Yeah, he was, but then he got hurt, and that kind of slowed them down. But we're also talking about a Sacramento team who they didn't really run their offense as much last year through Sabonis as they do this year. So because they do that, there isn't in terms of the offense being run the way it's ran, guys like De'Aaron Fox is getting different shots. And now we have film on these guys, and we have film on these guys specifically how they run that offense. So couple that with this dude looked like they just showed up yesterday. To be quite honest with you,
Yeah,
if
it's
I'm
the
being
Wizards.
honest, yeah, they look like it was a
March.
Thursday night. It was March. It was
It's
the
March
Wizards.
22nd. It's
Yeah,
late.
it is late, but they figured we could just show up and beat these dudes. Only except they didn't. And
that's how Ox be showing up to the show though. He from Sacramento too. That's the energy.
I feel
it
like
should just be easy. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like
with no preparation and just body shit.
I feel like with this Sacramento team, I mean, we're talking about a team that doesn't play with as fast a pace as they did last year. They don't have as good an interior defender as they did last year. Their defense is definitely different than last year. De'Aaron
Fox
Fox
better this year though. Better relative to last year. I mean,
different. I'm not saying better. I'm just saying different. Yeah. And De'Aaron Fox, even though De'Aaron Fox, I think that he should be a better defender than what he actually is. The way that Ox talks about him, we should be talking about him.
Say that again, Joe.
The way Ox talks about him, we should really be talking about him like that for real. That's not something that we should be just like.
Y'all should. Y'all need to watch more Kings games.
No, but we do.
Not
That's
that kind of defender.
He's not that kind of defender on a consistent basis. That's the problem with.
You put him in SGA conversation, bro. Relax, man.
And he's not that. But he should be in that conversation because he can be that kind of defender. Only except he's not Ox on a consistent basis.
Right.
In terms of switching, in terms of one-on-one defense, he gives up on a lot of plays. Last night was a prime example. Watching him play against those guards. To be honest with you, that might be the second Washington Wizards game I watch. I don't even watch Washington. I don't.
What made you stumble on that game, Chill?
What made me stumble on that game was I was in my live and they were telling me that Washington had Sacramento in a chokehold, and they were up like 10. And I was like, let me go peek my head in here and see what's going on. And sure enough, there was no action with Sacramento. There was no energy with them. They weren't on the backboard. They were basically getting run out of the gym last night.
Yo, I got a couple questions I gotta ask. One is for Wes, and then I got another question for everybody. But Wes, I guess this isn't really a one-size-fits-all answer or a quick fix, but what the hell are y'all gonna do?
We're cooked for a long time. We're actually going to struggle for quite a while. I think we hit the reset button 1 year too late. I don't know if you guys remember, but during the lottery last year, we were like one pick away. If one thing had happened, we would have got Wembanyama. And I'm not saying we should have tanked just for Wembanyama, but like I feel like we could have got a better return for Beal if we did it last year. I feel like whenever we lost Wall, that's that day we should have hit the reset button. And we chose not to. And so now we're going to have a top 3 pick, ideally going into next year. This draft class is weaker, and we tend to miss on draft picks too. So the last time we hit a draft pick was Bradley Beal, and I was 10 or something ridiculous like that. So it honestly is just going to come down to hitting on draft picks because we're going to be bad this year. We're going to be bad next year. We're going to be bad the year after that, and no one's going to want to come sign with us. I do like Marvin Bagley a little bit more than people think. He's been great for us rebounding. He's a lot more mobile than Daniel Gafford was. But we also don't have a point guard that I like on the roster, and that makes it extremely difficult to run an effective offense. I hate Jordan Poole. I don't want him on my team anymore, and I'm sad every day. 82 times a year I cry.
Do you think that
get Jordan Poole off the floor?
That KP trade last year, the delay on the Bill trade, do you feel like that kind of, well, even honestly, the KCP trade y'all had, because y'all got Monte Morris and Will Barton, which, I think those 3 trades, you feel like if y'all would have been better about acquiring assets for like a 3-and-D player in KCP, an all-star level player last year in KP, and then Bradley Beal early on, instead of signing him for that deal, those 3 trades would have made you a little bit better maybe right now because you have younger assets, and then maybe better for the talent accumulation in the future?
Yeah, I just think that we're in a spot where it was hard to build right now. We made decisions that we were still going to try and be a 10 seed for whatever reason, and we were just stuck in not even middle of the road, worse than middle of the road, and we were okay with that instead of just doing what the Rockets did or doing what the Thunder did and just acquiring assets and staying young. We just stayed 28 years old across the board with players that aren't that good.
What's the plan moving forward? Because again, I mean, you pass on Derek Lively for Jarris Walker. I mean, and what's going on with the front office there? That's the $1 million question. Who is your franchise player? That's the question that I have. I mean, You pass on Jalen Williams for Johnny Davis. Right?
Respect Johnny Davis. Respect Johnny Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't respect Johnny Davis.
Worst player in the league. Respect him.
Like I said, you pass on J-Dub for Johnny Davis. I mean, there was a number of different mishaps that you had over the last couple of years. I mean, you passed on Sengun for Kispert. Oh my, matter of fact, I'm not going to do it anymore.
I like Kispert.
I like Kispert too, but he's not Sengun.
He's a okay. Well, not everyone gets Sengun. Unlucky, buddy. But I mean,
even though you had an opportunity to get Sengun,
nah, he ain't have an opportunity for.
You had an opportunity to get Sengun, but you passed on him for Kispert.
I think it would take a layup. Like we need to get the number 1 pick, and it needs to be consensus across the board, and he needs to not get hurt, and he needs to be as generational as everyone says he's going to be.
If the Wizards get the number 1 pick, they'll take Reed Shepherd. Like that's what will happen. Like,
that's the problem. This draft class. That player isn't in this draft class. So even if we are fortunate enough to get the number 1 pick,
I don't know if you get, but with hey bro, Bilal, if you get him, you get Sar next to Bilal or something like that. Hey man, y'all got a nice little defensive core.
Yeah, we're gonna play good defense. Jordan Poole's gonna shoot 20.
Pass on. You take.
Oh man, we lost Wes. I thought it was me for a second.
Are we back?
Oh yeah, you back. All right.
Okay.
He said something about Jordan Poole taking 20.
Oh yeah, Jordan Poole's gonna take a bunch of really bad shots a game, and we've been playing better defense since the All-Star break, but even still, we go on 8-minute runs where we can't put the ball in the basket.
Y'all gonna trade Denny for nothing too. I can't wait.
That's half the quarter, Sniper. Like we cannot have stretches where we go half the quarter where we can't score.
No, all I know is I want Denny in real quick and in a hurry. So go ahead and
I like Denny. I don't think he gets enough love. I don't think he gets enough opportunity.
Denny is really good. Denny and Corey Kispert and Bilal are like the only players on the Wizards.
That's cool. I like that. That's nice.
Yeah, they got 3 good wings and Marvin Bagley's nice.
So you draft Denny.
Bagley actually's been better too. It's funny.
But you draft Denny, but you pass on Halliburton.
Well, a lot of people passed on Halliburton. To be fair, they did.
I was very high on Denny in the draft. I think he's now figuring out. If he didn't break his leg, I think he would be better than his now. How can the Wizards defense be better than it was? We gave them 140 twice.
Who better than who? The Rockets?
No, he said the Wizards defense has been better as of late. How bad was it before? Because we torched their defense twice. 100. So I haven't watched a bunch of Wizards games ever since I realized they were the worst team in the league. It's been very sparse. But if their defense is better now,
quick, Mars, quick. Detroit didn't win no games.
Actually,
yeah. I was telling people in November that the Wizards were the worst team
months ago. Mars was like, "Yo, the Wizards are worse than the Detroit Pistons," and I'm like, "Mars, this team lost."
The Pistons were on like game 22 of their losing streak, and I was like,
"Yeah, I'm like Mars, they're gonna lose 40 straight games. You're not selling that the Wizards are worse than them." I'm like, "Mars, you crazy? They are not worse than this team." And then I watched the Wizards, and I'm like, "They might be the worst team in the league."
They are, but if their defense is better, and we gave them like 136 on average across 2 games, I wish.
I just don't get it. A team goes on a 50-game losing streak. I'm exaggerating, y'all. A 50-game losing streak, and it turns out that they're not the worst team in the NBA.
How about that, yo? How is that possible? You lose 28 straight games, and you're not the worst team in the league. There's somebody actually worse than you. Actually worse. Because Mars, I can tell you right now, Toronto threw a monkey wrench in that Detroit Pistons 40-game losing streak. If they lose to Toronto, they're losing 40 straight games. I'm sure of it.
They got lucky. They met Toronto like right after they made the trade, so they had no one to play, and then they got the win.
Yes.
So shout out to them. It could have still been going on now, low key, but I would still say the Wizards are worse, even if the Pistons never won a game for the rest of the season.
Dang. So Wizards got 11. They've won 11 games this year. Pistons won 12. Right after them, you got the Spurs. They've won 15. Hornets won 17. Blazers 19. Shout out all the bottom of the barrel teams. Hey, Players' Choice got you. Nobody else might not got you, but Players' Choice got you. We're gonna show y'all some love. But last night after getting packed up by the Wizards. Is that actually a cause for concern for the Kings?
No, the Kings don't need to be concerned.
Should we be worried?
There's nothing to be. There's no expectation on the Kings.
Yeah, it depends on what you thought they were gonna do this year.
I think our ceiling was a deep second round push anyway. I don't think it's a no. I don't think so. It's not a cause for concern. Just like what happened with the other day when Minnesota when they lost Minnesota. Remember when Minnesota lost to the Hornets? Yeah, I was making a big deal about it. I don't think that was a big deal.
Remember OKC lost to fully healthy, by the way, lost to Detroit with no Cade.
Yeah,
that's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, but the Pistons are better without Cade, so
that's true.
But it's basketball though. It's basketball though, y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works.
I mean, the Nuggets have lost to the Rockets 3 times this year. So I mean, obviously,
you just got your number. You better hope you don't get that 8 seed.
Yeah.
So the Rockets just decide to play whenever they play against the Nuggets.
I hate you, Mars. I can't stand the sight of you, Mars. I swear. I can't stand the sight of you, Mars. You make me sick on the cards. Oh my God. I don't know what to do with this dude, y'all. I swear.
I think Jalen Green had the best quarter of his career. He had like a 17.3 assist quarter in the third quarter, one of those home games.
I think Jalen Green's averaging like 25 against the Nuggets this year. But
all
I know, you're lucky Sengun's not there because I know Sengun.
Why is that luck?
Like 9 of 32, so you're lucky Sengun ain't there.
Well, look, I'm telling y'all. So the Nuggets are 0-2 versus the Magic. They 1-3 versus the Rockets, 1-3 versus the Thunder, but then they didn't have Jokic in one of those games and multiple back-to-backs. So yeah, I mean, there's the young teams that the Gunners. I feel like Gunners, young teams get older teams, and especially in the regular season, not older teams. Nuggets are like not old, but I think some of these. Yeah, some of these teams that are just playing for a little bit more. If you're young, bro, like you can just remember Boston. They lost to the Magic last year 3 times. Now, some of that's the personnel. They have a bunch of wings, but I mean,
convincingly too, Swiper. By the way, not just
they did. And remember, they got handled by OKC last year without Shea.
Mm-hmm.
They got like by 30, 25 in Boston. So like if you're these young teams, man, they just play with level of energy that you got to like match every day, and especially like early on in the season and all that stuff. But yeah, man, shout out to Washington, man. They just
we're just better, but
you said what?
We're just better than you guys, but
yeah, that's true.
Oh, the Rockets
I gotta ask though.
No, because we're not. Unfortunately, we're not going to make the playoffs because Golden State feel like they're trying to win games for some reason. So we're not going to make it. But if we were, teams don't want to see us. That's what I know.
I got to be real. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about it yesterday. You know, y'all was attacking my man so much. I couldn't get it. You know, first of all, I didn't want to get involved with that because it looked dangerous. You know what I'm saying? It looked dangerous. I wanted to stay out of it. But I'll be feeling for real. You know what I'm saying? Still, sometimes you got to know when to relax. You know,
my grandmother told me this when I was a kid. Not everything is your business. Mind your business.
You know what I'm saying? Only hero is a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be no part of that. You know what I mean? So
not everything is your business.
So look, I'm not that high on Cade either. Okay. I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not that high on KD.
That don't move me though.
I'm not even talking to you, Swiper. I'm talking. You know what I'm saying?
Did you check his VORP? You checked his VORP, and you just.
I would never check that.
I was really curious to know how long we were going to get in the episode before VORP came up.
I don't give a damn.
If you don't like VORP, you can check win shares too. Win shares is also another.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know me. I don't give a shit about VORP or win shares. I'm just watching Cade play basketball, and even at Oklahoma State, I'm seeing the same thing. Like Cade is a really good basketball player. I don't think he should be playing point guard first of all, and I just don't think his impact is all that. And that's not a knock on the kid. I think he's going to have a very long, successful NBA career. I just think he's a little hype. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say.
I don't think I've heard anyone say anything. I think we're the only people who have ever spoke about Cade. And that's because Domo said the Pistons were going to win 40 games. Otherwise, I don't think we would talk about him.
Sold me on it. I was in.
No one talked about Cade. Of all the recent number one picks, he's the least spoken about. Paolo gets spoke about more. Anthony Edwards gets spoke about more. Wemby obviously gets spoke about more. Like
Chet gets spoken
about. Zion even gets spoken about. Zion today.
But Ron, when that was coming out, when there was at Florida State and there was at Oklahoma State,
you was praising Scotty Barnes.
Scotty Barnes. I thought Scotty Barnes was better than Cade at what was that at Oak Hill or my
you thought he was better than him in high school?
I'm not that high on Cade Cunningham.
I used to be the same way with Cade. I didn't like his slow ass pace. I didn't know how that was going to translate to the college level, and then from the college level to the NBA level, because obviously the speeds pick up as you go on. But I'm not going to lie, the more and more I watch Cade, the better and better I think he is, and the more I actually.
He's dope though.
If Cade,
I think his game
Cade was with like if he was playing with like I'm trying to think a team like
not even an ideal situation, Swiper. Not. I don't think we need to
hit him on any team that had some.
Well,
he's playing with 4 non-shooters at the same time. I don't know what you want.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like if he was what's a bottom team in the league right now? Like
Blazers.
So the Blazers, San Antonio,
Blazers
Utah,
with
Memphis,
DeAndre Ayton and
Charlotte,
Anthony Simons and
Toronto,
and Jimmy Grant. I would like
Mark Williams with Charlotte. Like if he played with the Rockets, I believe they would just be a better basketball team. I think he needs to be optimized as a playmaker for others. And he's also a good scorer. Like he's not, like I said, I think Cade is just getting like he's kind of like, for me, Justin Fields. He's better than Justin Fields. Justin Fields, Chicago type slander, when it's like, well, we had DJ Moore, a terrible offensive line, no run game. They're running Deonta Foreman for most of the year, and then people are like, oh, why isn't he doing more or whatever else? So I think it's kind of like that situation. He just needs to be a little bit of a better spot, and maybe, but do you trust Detroit, Ox, that they going, like, oh, somebody said it. What if you put Wemby right now? Cade and Wemby?
Well, this is the thing. I like Jalen Duren a lot.
Me too.
I think I don't think the Pistons are gonna be as bad. Once Jaden Ivey, once Monty Morris get his, not Monty
Williams.
Yeah, Monty Williams. I don't hate the young talent Detroit has. I think they could keep that together, and in the next couple seasons, I think Detroit will be okay. That's what I'm saying, y'all. I'm not saying Cade is weak at all. I don't think Cade is a bad basketball player. I just don't think he's as good as y'all think he is.
Well, they got two-star guards right now.
I don't think his impact is all that crazy. And I think Jaden Ivey, Cade, who else they got? Oh, they got a Soar.
They got Grimes.
They got your boy.
Oh, y'all got to leave me alone with that. But I thought he was somebody else. Jaden Ivey, I think Detroit is going to be okay. I think Detroit's going to be okay. And mind you, I think Cade is going to be their best player. I just don't think Cade is what y'all think he is. So I'm not saying,
but what is? You're talking. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can we attribute the way that this crew was handled? Because in terms of the talent, I mean, I honestly feel like Cade can impact the game. I thought he kind of gave me a Grant Hill vibe when he was coming out of Oklahoma State, because I did see him on the defensive end. I did see him handling the basketball. I did see him as an athlete. He kind of gave me that kind of vibe. But now he gets with Detroit, and I see him with Jaden Ivey. I see these two guys in the backcourt. I'm figuring, okay, Cade's going to be a better defender this year, considering Monty Williams preaches that. Not only is he going to be a better defender, he can be a better distributor, because Jaden Duren plays at the rim. I see him throwing the ball to Jaden Duren at the rim. I feel like the biggest problem that Detroit has is that they don't have any continuity on offense. That's the problem. They don't have any continuity on offense. They don't know who they're going to. They don't know where they're going. And because of that, it makes Cade look like he's inefficient. It makes Cade looks like he's ineffective, because there's really not much that he's doing outside of their offense, like in terms of creating shots. So
shouldn't he play the three?
That's why I was thinking that's why I was thinking right there, Big Ox. That's where I was getting the Grant Hill thing coming, because I was thinking he was more of a small forward coming out of school as opposed to a lead guard. I didn't see him at the lead guard spot. I didn't see that from him.
That's Mars, I think that's my biggest thing, Chill. I think he's just out of position.
Mars, you think they'd be better getting a point guard in there and just letting Cade basically just shoot? Let Cade look for a shot, as opposed to trying to, run the offense and all of that?
Well, you can look to pass from that position too, right? You don't have to just look to score.
I think, the way the league's going, you probably just want size at every position. Cade's a big guard, but he'd be a regular sized wing, probably a below average. But like,
what is he, 6'6", 6'7", something like that?
Yeah, somewhere in 6'6", 6'7".
Good size. Right.
But at the point guard, it's elite size, and I think Cade's a good enough facilitator and decision maker to do that. But when you put him on the floor with 4 non-spacers, it makes passing harder. Because I looked it up yesterday. The players who have played the most minutes with Cade this season: Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, and Jaden Ivey.
No floor.
None of them are floor spacers. Not one of them.
No floor spacers.
And that's the players he shared the most minutes with. Then number 5, Bogdanovic, floor spacer. Number 6, Killian Hayes, not a floor spacer. You can't play at most 4 non-spacers alongside Cade, and at best 3 non-spacers alongside Cade, and then expect his playmaking and him to not turn the ball over. There's no space for him to do anything. So if he's trying to get into the teeth of the defense, they're helping one pass away, and you're creating nothing because no one can do anything. He's trying to find cutters, but the whole team needs to cut because no one can shoot. Asar Thompson, 15% from 3. What are you meant to do with that? Jalen Duren won't even step behind the 3-point line. Rightfully so. He's a big man. Isaiah Stewart, they've asked him to be a stretch big, and teams still don't respect his jumper, even though I think he's shot an okay percentage, but teams still don't respect it. Jaden Ivey is another downhill guard. No one's really fighting to contest Jaden Ivey threes, and Killian Hayes, I think enough is said. That's the problem with Detroit. They have no one who can shoot on the roster, so Cade is having to try create for a bunch of people who can only finish around the rim. That's the problem. I think Cade is a time guard in the right situation. And Oklahoma State had similar problems. They have no spacing as well. He hasn't been on a team that could shoot the ball since high school. Like, that's kind of
his high school team was his best team.
So Mars, when you're looking at the NBA and you're looking at floor spacers, what's the average team's floor spacer? Because it's not like every team or even elite teams got 3 or 4 floor spacers. I know that guys shoot the long ball. I won't argue that part. I know that guys shoot the long ball, but how many floor spacers do you actually need in order to open up the offense?
But a guard.
I mean,
Cade should be a floor spacer, but he's not. That's another one of the problems because he's not a floor
Cade
spacer.
can definitely shoot the ball. Like, he can definitely shoot the ball. The fact that I think he's at 35%. The fact that he's at 35% with the amount of threes he has to generate for himself and the amount of defensive attention he gets, I think that's a clear indication that Cade can shoot the ball. And he's actually shown to be pretty capable without the ball in his hands too in certain situations when it comes to designing plays for him to get open threes. He's been probably their best 3-point shooter this year, like for the whole year, because Bogdanovic was hurt, then didn't play a bunch of games. So probably been their best floor spacer. But like, you look at most teams around the league, they have at least in their starting lineup, they have at least 2 guys who can shoot. Like, we're going to talk about the Pelicans today. Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy. 3 guys who can shoot the ball. You look at the Lakers. You look at Herb Jones can shoot. Exactly. Herb Jones can shoot now too. You look at the Lakers. LeBron James can shoot. D'Lo can shoot. Austin Reeves can shoot. 3 guys who can shoot the ball. You look at the Pacers. Halliburton, Siakam, Mathurin, Aaron Neeson, Obi Toppin. They had Buddy Hield. They can shoot. Denver's without saying. Miami, Duncan Robinson. Jimmy Butler can somehow shoot threes this year, but I'm not going to count that. But Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier,
Kevin Love.
They have guys who can shoot the ball. Like, there's no teams that just have a bunch 4 non-spacers on the same team playing the lion's share of the minutes just doesn't exist anywhere in the league. Even the bad teams have at least multiple people who can shoot the ball.
The bad teams have a lot of people that can shoot. The Blazers got shooters. They might not have nothing else, but they got shooters. Anthony, shooter. Shaedon Sharp, shooter. Malcolm Brogdon, shooter. I mean, Scoot, we know he's not a shooter, but everybody else, shooters. Jeremy Grant, shooter. The Spurs.
But even if you're not gonna have floor spacers, at least you gotta. If we're gonna play like that, 1, we gotta play elite defense, which Detroit doesn't play. 2, we gotta have a dude on the box or at least in the mid post that can score. If we're not gonna have a bunch of floor spacers, they don't have that neither.
Yep.
So we're basically stuck between a rock and a hard place when we're doing that. I really don't know what to do with Detroit. Plus, add that to the fact that is Cade their guy? Because if you look at the better teams in the NBA, they've established their franchise player. The Boston Celtics established their franchise player. Milwaukee, Denver, all the better teams in the league, Philadelphia, when they had Embiid, they've all established their franchise player. Who is the guy in Detroit? Is it actually Cade? Is it what exactly are they doing in Detroit to 1, establish a franchise player, 2, run the type of offense that's going to be conducive to this franchise player, and 3, is it gonna equal wins? So what exactly is it that they're doing in Detroit? I don't know, which would explain why they lost almost 30 straight games.
It should be Cade and Duren, and then like Asar should be their wing defender of the future.
Right.
Those 3 should be the ones who I think Cade and Duren is definitely untouchable. Asar it would have to be a mind-blowing offer to get off Asar. Hopefully the blood clot issue isn't severe, because I know we seen what it did to Chris Bosh and it ended his career. Hopefully it's just something benign. They caught it early. They can figure that out, because I really like Asar. Those three, and then everyone else, I don't think. Jaden Ivey, I think, is a very good guard. I just don't think he fits next to Cade. I know Domo said something to that effect also at the start of the season.
If he was a better floor spacer, Mars, would that actually work?
Yeah, I think it would work, but I just think you want Jaden Ivey, if you want him at his best, you probably want the ball in his hands, which means you'd either become a sixth man on the Pistons or he'd get a starting job somewhere else where the ball would be in his hands. Next to Cade, I don't think you want Jaden Ivey off the ball, even though I think he's a good player, but I just think for his best interest, he'd have the ball in his hands. And for the Pistons' best interest, you don't want him off the ball next to Cade. So I just don't think it's a great fit. So those three, then your pick this year. I know you don't technically have your pick, but it's lottery protected, so you're gonna get it. And then you draft someone this year, whoever you get. Hopefully, it's not someone ridiculous. And then you just build from there. But I don't like Monty Williams, so you got to do something about that, in my opinion. And then you just build. You build from
how much is Monty making
2.5.
That's it. Like 18
64 million, I think, over like
3 weeks away from the playoffs.
Something like that. 64 million over like 4 years or something.
3 weeks away from the playoffs, and we're here talking about the Detroit Pistons. That's what we're doing right
now. Yeah, people want to hear about the Pistons, but yeah. So that's my. I think Cade would look a lot better in a situation with spacing. Long story short, and I think the Pistons need to get him some spacing.
I'm not mad at that young core though. I think they got something to work with between Cade, between Jalen Duren. I'm very high on the Asor just based on all his tools that he's shown. And
Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, you love Jaden. I'm not that high.
I like him too, Big Ox. I do. I like him too. I like him too. Yes, I do. I like him.
I don't think he fits though. I think Mars is right. Jaden Ivey, he's good with the ball and he excels with the ball, but I don't think you can take the ball out of Cade Cunningham's hands. That's a hard sentence to say. But I think if you just add one pure shooter to that team, it would make his life a lot easier. Having a playmaker with no one who can finish the play outside of the paint makes it extremely difficult, especially because I don't think you want Cade shooting isolation threes, which he's had to do, which his percentage has suffered as a result. And so if you can get Cade in a spot where he can get downhill, he can attack the basket and be able to kick it out to a shooter and operate in the pick and roll, I think it would be a lot better for them. And maybe if that means moving Ivy to the bench or moving off of Ivy, but I think Ivy's too good to come off that bench because that bench is terrible.
So this is my thing. If you try to play like these other teams, if you don't got the personnel these other teams got, then you're not going to have success. Monty Williams. Now, Mars, I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this, Mars. Coach got to coach, bro. You know what I'm saying? Coach got to coach. Like you can't just keep trying to play like teams that got a bunch of shooters. Just play different.
That's why Jimmy Butler is as good as Jimmy Butler is. And I know that we talk about Jimmy Butler when he gets into the playoffs and he turns up the way he does, because Jimmy Butler he's not going to allow you to make him play like everybody else. I'm better than all of y'all at what I do. Period. I'm better than all of you guys at what I do. And that's just it. I think if the Pistons could establish an identity and roll with it, then we're having a different conversation. But they also have to get an identity. And I don't think they have that yet.
All right, y'all. I want to shout out to everybody that's watching. All 1,000 of you. Go ahead and slap that like button. Salute to everybody that's been in here all week. Salute to everybody that's going to watch the full show today. You guys are the real MVPs. The chat clears. As you can see, you can chat for $1.99. Those are our new membership perks. We also have a $5.99 membership where with that, not only do you get to type in the chat, but you get access to exclusive content that we have behind the scenes. So shout out to everybody that's a member. Shout out to all of our new subscribers. Once again, like the video. Tonight, we will be on playback, and it will be a watch party with the guy that's going to be here in about an hour. My man, Damo. He going to hold it down. It's the Lakers versus Sixers, so should be a solid game. We'll see, though. We'll see. But Damo and the Lakers media cartel will be there, so y'all pull up and show out. We got a few super chats and a couple new members. I'm going to go ahead and shout them out. Ace Walk, Isaac Ford. Who else we got? Broward ZB. Shout out them. Shout out Broward. All right, man, we got some super chats. Let's go ahead and dive into it. And then we're going to get into the title of the show. We're going to talk about the Pelicans a little bit. We're going to talk about Zion and what they're going to look like going into the playoffs. And we're going to talk about something that happened that's unfortunate last night with the Pelicans.
No, it's not. It's actually not. It's not that bad, but go ahead. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay. Drip Bayless said, chill. I need you to explain how JH and AI, James Harden and Allen Iverson aren't point guards, but Luka and SGA is. Also, you said JS?
John Stockton.
John Stockton is greater than Steph, but not a better player. It's been proven that 25 out of 6 can win.
25 and 6, 25.6 assists.
25 points and 6 assists can win. Only Magic and Bron won with 10 plus assists. Thoughts?
Well, James Harden and Allen Iverson, again, that's what the league guard is today. Damo actually said this to me a couple of episodes ago. He said that 20 years ago, if you told me that the future of the league guard is John Wall and Allen Iverson, would I have believed that? No, I wouldn't have believed that, but that's what it is, because that's Luka, that's SGA, that's guys who score the basketball more than they distribute. As good as Luka is as a distributor, he's not the conventional league guard, but that's what he is today. I don't put Luka in the same league guard spot as I do John Stockton or Isaiah Thomas or Jason Kidd. I don't put him in that same category. So that's what the league guard is today. So that's where he is. I put Steph Curry in the same category with James Harden, Allen Iverson, Jerry West, guys like that. I don't put him in the same category with Magic and Stockton and Isaiah and Oscar Robertson, the traditional league guard. I think that those two guys are completely different.
What's traditional about a 6'9" point guard?
Well, I don't think it's. I think it's not just traditional. It's just I'm bigger, and I do the same thing that you guys do. I'm just bigger, and what I do is I'm advancing the position, as opposed to I'm just a small guy. I'm doing the same thing that you guys do. I pass the ball with the best of them. I run the crew with the best of them. I'm just bigger than all of you guys, so I do everything that you guys do, except better, and I'm bigger.
So why is LeBron not a point guard?
That's a good question. That is a really good question. Was he the primary ball handler in Cleveland? I think he was.
When he plays point guard, he is a point guard.
Yes.
Why do we not rank him? That's what I'm saying. Why do we not rank him?
I think because he came in as a small forward and he played with point guards. Like he played with Eric Snow, right? He played with Mario Chalmers. He played with other league guards, and they handled the basketball a lot.
Magic played with Norm Nixon.
He did play with Norm Nixon, and Norm Nixon got actually moved to the 2. It's very much like what was going on with LeBron James when he was running with Kyrie Irving, where Kyrie Irving moved off the basketball, and Kyrie Irving is another guy who came into the league at the league guard spot, but then moved off the basketball. So I think that James came into the game at the small forward spot, and he also played with other league guards. So we don't really view him as the league guard like that. But the game changed so much over time that because he had the ball, and offenses changed too. Because remember, the lead guard was Magic coming up, throwing the ball into Jabbar. Stockton coming up, throwing the ball into Jabbar, making plays for Jeff Malone, making plays for Thurl Bailey and guys like that. Same thing with Oscar Robertson, making plays like that. Now, then you have the point forward, which was Scottie Pippen, but the offense was more advanced. So the triangle offense, it wasn't just Scottie Pippen handling the basketball and they were running down screens and he was the primary distributor for everybody. No, that offense was that way.
Okay.
Shepard Sounds with the super chat said PJ Washington is making opposing teams' primary ball handler is making opposing teams' primary ball handler to 41%. I think he meant to say holding to 41%. Mavs are the most clutch team in basketball and have the second most size in the West. The recipe to win chips since 2019 minus Golden State.
I mean, I think their record says they're the most clutch team. I think they have the least amount of losses and the most amount of wins for sure.
Mavericks are good.
Wes, how you feel about the Mavericks?
I think that
I'm not really confident in the Mavericks.
I
mean, they're good, and I think that they might be able to win the first round if they can somehow avoid Minnesota or Denver. But they have the size, but they don't have better size than either one of those teams. So I think that if you're going size for size with those two teams, you're cooked. And I think they can scare the Clippers, but I don't think they scare the Pelicans either. So I think that just the way that they're seeded and how it's probably going to play out, they're going to get a matchup that I don't think favors them. I think Luka's honestly a little too ball dominant. And although Kyrie's playing really well, but regardless, I don't see them making a deep run in the playoffs.
Everybody feels that way up there?
You think they can beat OKC in the first round?
I think they match up well, better than the other teams against OKC. They have more size than OKC, and I think that Luka and Kyrie are able to, or are going to be able to create and score almost at will. But I still think that OKC is the better team, and maybe the playoff inexperience may hurt them. But if I had to pick one, I would go OKC.
So nobody has the Mavs going past the second round.
I think the Mavs can beat anyone.
Depends on the matchup.
I think they can. I've said it. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat anyone in the West.
If they were in the West Finals, Miles, would that surprise you?
Mm-mm.
I would be shocked if they beat a fully healthy Minnesota or Denver.
I just feel like Luka got to do too much, man. And Irv is the one who Irv is the guy that I'm thinking about more than any of them, because in order for them to be as good as they could possibly be, Irv needs to be consistent. Like, I'll get a 35 game from Irv, and then I'll get something else from him for the rest of the series. Or then I'll get a couple of 22 games, and it could be empty. And that's the thing that worries me about him. Add that to the fact that Luka has to do as much as Luka has to do. When you scheming on a guy that has the basketball as much as Luka has the basketball, you could get in a series where, on the one hand, he could dominate the series. But then on the other hand, you could get in a series where we could load up on you, and we could load up on everybody else and make you beat us and know that you can't beat us. Similar to what similar to what happened to LeBron in 2009.
I think the problem is, though, that I think Luka has put too much weight on himself. And I think, yes, he has to do too much in a lot of cases. But there are stretches where I think that Kyrie can still handle the ball. Kyrie can still run the offense. And I don't think that they give him as much opportunity as they should. I think it should genuinely be a 1A, 1B type situation, similar to the Cavs in 16 when Kyrie and LeBron were both going for 30, 40 points. But they've genuinely, since Kyrie has been in Boston, then Brooklyn, then Dallas, he's been an actual second option. And I don't think that that's good. I think that Kyrie is still a number one option kind of guy. And I think that if they kind of shared the load, it'd be a lot easier on Luka, his motor, and it'd just be easier for them to win games. I don't think they go through Kyrie enough.
I mean, I think their issues are actually just not beyond Kyrie and Luka, are just the personnel. Their defense has been better in this last stretch, but it's not been good since the All-Star break for the most part. And I think, they play versus some of these elite teams. They're scheming to beat the Mavs in particular. I think PJ Washington, Daniil Gafford, and Derek Lively are obviously really good bigs to have in your rotation for a playoff team. But I think like the Thunder, I think that's a matchup they could take advantage of. I'll be curious to see how they kind of guard that Chet pick and pop. The fact that the OKC Thunder only play players that can shoot outside of Josh Giddey. SGA's his defense, obviously, and then obviously, Kyrie or Luka getting switched on to him because they're going to switch Hunt or Tim Hardaway Jr. And then obviously Casey Wallace, J-Dub. They're going to have a lot of ways they can attack. But I will say, I do think that would be a fun series to watch. If we got a chance to see OKC versus the Mavericks, I think that would be a lot of high-level shot making between two elite teams with elite guards in the backcourt. But I just think that if you're telling me the Mavs versus the Wolves, I mean, even that, ostensibly can happen. But I think the thing is the Wolves, their offense will not be good. So hear me say that. I understand that. But the Wolves being able to access, Nall, which is Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jaden McDaniels, and then Anthony Edwards, to be able to play defense on those three players. And then if they switch, you're still switching or dropping with Rudy Gobert, or you're switching with, whatever, then Karl Anthony Towns obviously will be there by then, Nas Reed, Kyle Anderson. They're just going to have a lot of bodies, and they're going to try to pack the paint as much as possible and make Luka a 1v1 player to beat them, which he definitely can. I just think that asking him to do that, though, and also playing defense on the other end for an entire series is just going to be a lot of work. But that's not Luka's fault. That's just that's just the way I would do the same thing. I'm hunting Luka every possession I can, not even to score on him, just to see if I can get him worn down by the end of the game and then by the end of the series. But I think the Wolves matchup would be incredible. I think the Nuggets matchup, that would just be,
And the way that offense is constructed too, Swiper, because if you look at the way that roster is constructed to make Luka do everything. So if in the process of Luka having the basketball and making him do everything, then you hunting him on defense. I mean, are we playing into Luka's hands? Because we all know Luka just wants to get back to the basketball, and we know that Minnesota plays defense, so it's not just going to be a bucket for bucket series because they are going to slow Minnesota. Minnesota is going to slow Dallas down. So at some point, you guys have to get stopped. Well, if they're going to hunt Luka, Luka is not really slowing anybody down. So how are you guys going to beat them?
Oh no, y'all seen Luka playing a little D last night? I'm just saying. I seen it with my own 2 eyes. I can't play.
Wait. I'm not saying the effort's definitely been better. 100%. The effort with Luka has definitely been better. But it's just when you get into a playoff series where Minnesota does get action, and they're definitely going to get Luka in action where he gets switched on to Anthony Edwards. They're going to see if they could get him in action where he could get switched on to Rudy diving to the basket, which they took advantage of when they did that against the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard, when they did that against the Clippers with Russell Westbrook. They're going to put Luka in as much action as they could possibly get. So at some point, you're going to have to slow Minnesota down, which I do at some point, you're going to have to get stops. Now, are they going to be able to consistently get stops courtesy of Luka? I don't know about that.
I don't believe in the Mavs defense either. Like come long term, I don't at all. Kyrie's been giving great effort defensively, but I don't believe in their defense, not one bit. And I think the Wolves. I know their offense is not good. I just think people are just underestimating. The Wolves are going to be one of the 4 most physical teams in the NBA in the playoffs, and that's a huge deal. That if you can just kind of exert your will physically throughout the entire game over the course of a series, that's a lot. And I think them being able to attack constantly, Rudy Gobert versus Derek Lively and them, that would be a lot of fun to watch. I think the vertical spacing would be interesting clash between styles, and obviously Mike Conley and Anthony Edwards taking advantage of that over Luka and Kyrie taking advantage of that. I still lean Luka in them, but I think that would be a series where, I think the Timberwolves can win that in 6. I think the Mavs can win that in 7. I think the Mavs, possibly if their shot making is insane, they can win that in 6, but I doubt that happening. I just think the Wolves would be a really tough out. I do think OKC, they have been playing very determined this whole year. They have been playing very consistent. We could have seen the best basketball this year that we've seen from OKC in the regular season. I don't know what their ceiling is in the playoff run, but even still, they've been winning all year and they've been healthy all year as well. So I think that would be a tough matchup. But honestly,
Swiper, that team is contingent. The Oklahoma City's team is contingent on their big guy in the middle. That's contingent on how far they go because they could go bucket for bucket, but the same logic with Dallas. They're going to have to stop people. They're going to have to rebound. They're going to have to guard the rim. They're going to have to guard the interior. And their best interior defender is a rook that looks like you can blow him over with a really good gust of wind. So you got big guys in the playoffs that are going to do what they can to go after him. Now, offensively, I think he helps. I think he gives them an element that they didn't have. I see the same thing with him as I see with Boston with KP. That stretch 5 that they didn't have. I don't think that we can overvalue how big a stretch 5 is because how much he opens up the offense and makes the offense so much better for everybody else. So now when you get a guy like Chet who also does that, plus he can rebound, but he's light. So when you get big guys like Anthony Davis, when you get big guys like Joker, when you get big guys like Rudy that bang on him and kind of make him obsolete in the offense, because Rudy does a really good job on him defensively. When you slow him down, you can really slow Oklahoma City down too.
Swiper, I wanna push, not necessarily push back, but I want to ask you a question about what you said about the Wolves just out physicaling teams. You really think that the Wolves will punk the Mavericks?
I'm not punk. I said that playing physical is their brand. They only play physical. They only make it harder for you to get in the paint. They only make you take jump shots for the most part that they try. Well, again, mostly. I think the Wolves are just a lot. They're just one of the more physical teams in the league. I think the Nuggets, the Wolves.
Swiper, have we had a defensive team, the best defensive team in the league that's soft? Have you seen that?
I mean, maybe that Utah Jazz team. I didn't think they were all that physical.
Were they the best defensive team in the league, though?
They were. They were number one.
Were they?
Going into the,
I thought they were number two. And that was largely due to Rudy.
Yeah, but they had no one else. That's what I'm saying. There was nobody else that was scaring you over the course of that matchup. I just think people are like, I think Ant Edwards and Jaden and Rudy make them just very, very, and Nikhil, very physical. They're going to play those four. They're going to close those four.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to add whoever else in there. And every single one of them wants to get with you. They want to be body to body with you. They want to attack the glass. They want to rebound. They want to run. They're not going to settle for the shot. Again, they're not like a great offensive team. I think that stuff matters. And again, if you can outbeat physical with skill, that's how you beat it. Because they're not as skilled as other teams will. So maybe the Mavs can outskill them. But outside of Luka and Kyrie, who's going to outskill them? So, and I think the question for everybody in the panel is, I don't think this. But I definitely know that after the other night that Anthony Edwards had, there were some people that were saying Anthony Edwards ain't that far away from Luka Doncic. Now, I don't agree with that, obviously. But Ox, in a playoff series, do you think Anthony Edwards will be able to hold up as the number one option in a similar capacity as Luka?
I think Anthony Edwards is on his way. I'm not sure. Swiper, that's the thing. I can't answer that question and say yes or no. I think he can be. I'm not sure if he's there yet. I'm not sure if it's this year or next year. But Anthony Edwards has showed even last year the way he was trying to compete with Bron. Anthony Edwards takes that defensive side of the ball very seriously. He's gonna compete. So I think he has the mentality, and I think he has the physical attributes as well. So I just want to see it get done. I think if anybody's capable of doing it, I think he's on that list of people. It's a short list. Swiper, it's a short list. But I think Anthony Edwards is on that list, though. I do.
How far away you think he is from Luka? Like the way he's playing right now, if this continues and he gets better in the next 2 years, how far is he from Luka?
So this is my thing. As how far is he from being as good as Luka? That's a different question as opposed to how.
I think they're two different players. I don't want to say that.
I don't think we'll be able to talk about. I don't think I'll be able to talk about Anthony Edwards, especially to other people, like in my own thoughts. Yeah, but to talking to other people, you know what I mean?
Let me rephrase the question, Big Ox.
Wait, hold on. Because what I'm saying is like I can't say that. I can't say that to other people. I can't say to other people, yeah, Anthony Edwards is as good as Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? Even if I feel that way. So what I'm saying is, I think he can compete. Well, just because it's a pointless statement. You'll get abused for saying things like that.
Do you think so? And can you back it up?
Not today. Okay. I don't think he is.
Rod, I feel like Rod trying to back that up.
I don't think you have to be as good as somebody necessarily to compete with them, though. I think Anthony Edwards has everything it takes to compete with Luka Doncic. Yeah, so I'm not saying he's better than him. I'm not saying he's better than him, but I think he can get with Luka in a series. Yeah.
So that's why I want to rephrase the question, Ox. How far away is he from? Because Luka's in the conversation for the best player on the planet. So how far do you think Anthony Edwards is away from that?
Maybe a season or two seasons.
Season or two.
Yeah.
What will he have to do better?
He's like a different timeline away from that.
Yeah. What will could Ant right now? His best asset is his scoring. Wouldn't you say? And obviously his defense, but it's mostly his scoring. Luka's obviously a much better scorer at this point in time in his career. So basically, you're saying that Ant could just kind of hit this little proverbial ceiling where his pull-up shot making is just really good. His free throw rate when he gets to the rim could be insane. And he could be an SGA. He could be like 9, 10, 11 attempts at the line if he really wants to get there. And then defensively, you think he can just move into like first team All-NBA status.
Well, Swipe, but this is the thing. So there's a list of guys in the league that have been in the league that if they get to their spot on a pull-up jump shot, they're making it. There's a list of guys where if I get to that spot, you can't. Only way you can stop me is blocking this shot. I think Anthony Edwards needs to get to that point. That's something like when DeMar DeRozan went to San Antonio. You can see a difference in his game, and I don't know if it was getting with Pop. I don't know if it was off season working out with somebody. I don't know. I'm not privy to that information, but I did see a real change in his game, getting to those spots in the mid-range. If Anthony Edwards can put that in his game to where, when I get to this spot, it's a knockdown. Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, those are two. Paul George, those are some of the guys on that list.
No, he's not.
Paul,
no, he's not. He's never trying good enough.
what Paul Pierce used to be. When I get to this spot, it's going in. The only way you can stop a player like that is stopping it from getting to a spot. I think Anthony Edwards has the potential to do that. Once he gets to that level of offense, to where in the fourth quarter we can go to end. Right. Once he gets to that level, I think that's what it's going to take.
To your point, this year Anthony Edwards is taking a pull-up shooter. He's taking 9.5 attempts a game as a pull-up shooter, and he had averaging 8.6 points a game as a pull-up shooter, but he's shooting 35%. Then from three, he's only taking 1.6. And he's shooting 36.8. But the funny thing is
pulling up. That's not catch and shoot. That's pulling up.
That's just pulling up.
Okay.
One dribble, two dribble, or just whatever.
All right.
But the problem is that the reason why the Wolves can come crashing down to earth in the playoffs. Anthony Edwards is by far their best pull-up shooter. And then there's Mike Conley, who's shooting 2.6 attempts from three as a pull-up shooter, shooting 39.7. They have no one else shooting at even one. So that drop coverage versus everybody except for Mike Conley thing is going to be a problem, because if you pack the paint on them, then they don't have a lot of ability to score unless Anthony Edwards just goes absolutely bananas in that game. And we saw that last year. He can do that, but then even that might not be enough. So I think that's where the veil could come off for the Wolves. Like, the wig could come off. It's like, all right, bro, like they can't hit no shots that when it matters most type deal, and their defense ain't really doing what it needs to. But I think that's the solution though. Rudy Gobert is going to play drop coverage. So if you can take advantage of that, cool, bet. If you can get them to the point where like they're playing drop, Luka's snaking, Kyrie's snaking, and then next thing you know, Jaden got to come help, Mike got to come help, Ant got to come help, and Nikhil got to come help. Whoop. You know what I mean? And then you're able to hit your shots. Then that's it. That's it. I think that's when the Mavs win that series.
Yeah, I've been saying this about the Wolves though. I don't expect shit from the Wolves come playoff time.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like nothing. I don't think that they're going to be better than.
Ron, are you looking at the same team that you saw against Memphis? This is not the same team, Ron. This is a completely different unit.
It is
way different. No,
it's still not moving me. Yeah, it is chill. It's still not moving me. I'm sorry. It's just not.
There's an attitude on this team that's they're a lot tougher. Not only are they a lot tougher, they're more athletic. I mean, they didn't have Jaden McDaniels 2 years ago. They didn't have Nas Reed like that 2 years ago, right? They didn't have Rudy 2 years ago when they played against Memphis. They didn't have that. They have that now. And that's an element in the playoffs. If you're going to win, that you need to be able to stop people consistently. Just like you need to be able to get buckets, you do need to be able to stop people. And the way to do that is you got to protect the rim, you got to rebound. And they got wing defenders who can do that. They have wing defenders who can slow other wing players down. They got a rim protector in Rudy Gobert that makes it difficult on your guys. So this is not the same team. I'm not looking at this Minnesota team like I'm looking at the Clippers. I'm not looking at them like that. No.
Yeah,
I don't trust the Clippers at all.
And that's my thing. How can you trust this Minnesota team but don't trust the Clippers?
The reason why I don't
trust the Clippers. What do you mean? How could you do that? What do you mean? Well, can you explain that for me, please? You're saying you should be able to trust the Clippers more based on what?
Well, one team has Kawhi Leonard.
Who has what over the last 4 years? What has he shown you?
He's one of the best players in the NBA.
No, he has not shown you that. He's shown you
yes,
more.
Yes, he has.
He's 100%
I'm saving you. He didn't mean that.
In addition to that, because two things could be right. In addition to that, what else has he shown you? I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Ox.
Oh, you talking to me?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he showed me. He showed me that.
What else?
He showed me that he's a top 5 player in the world.
Oh, and what else has he shown you?
Yeah. And that if Paul George didn't hit the side of the backboard so much,
is it really that simple, Ox? Come on, man. You smarter than that. Don't do that.
Kawhi also fell apart in those fourth quarters. If you're gonna blame PG, blame Kawhi too.
And he broke down.
He got hurt.
Right.
No, he wasn't hurt. He was fully healthy 2020.
No, I'm not talking about that one. I'm not talking about that one, Swipe. I'm talking about last year. You
brought a PG backboard. That was 2020.
Yeah, I did. But did you not hear what Chilltown just said?
Let that go.
I'm not letting that go. It happened. Why would I let it go?
Well, then bring up Kawhi. Kawhi was bad in those 4 quarters.
Kawhi's the top 5 player in the world. That's all I got.
No, he's not.
I'm done with it.
Is he better than me? Is he better than me?
Is he better than me? He's a top 5 player. I'm not getting.
No, I'm asking. Hold on. Everybody, hold on. Is Kawhi? I love Kawhi. By the way, just to be clear, I think he's top 5 playoff player. He could be. Is he better than Joel Embiid? Ox.
He's the top 5 player in the world.
No, can you just answer the question?
He's the top 5 player in the world.
Can you answer the question? Stop running
because
through
I
smoke.
said so. It's not
I'm
an
not running
answer.
through smoke.
Because
I'm
I
asking
said
you to answer the question.
It's not because I said so.
That's
It's because
exactly what
Kawhi
you're
said
saying.
so. That's
No,
not
he
what
Kawhi said
didn't.
what? When did he say that?
I'm saying, Kawhi, I'm not saying it on the court. Kawhi's game speaks for itself. He's the top 5 player in the
Kawhi say he's the
world.
top 5 player? Why would he say that?
Look, Swiper. You hear what you want to hear, but you got selective hearing like a
When
mother.
did Kawhi say that?
I'm listening. So let's
He
just say
didn't
his
say
game.
it
So,
verbally.
okay,
He
so
said
his
it on the
game,
hardwood.
What
with
about his game over the
Swiper.
last 4 years suggests that Kawhi Leonard is a top 5 player in the game?
So y'all just missed the first part of that series against the Suns before you got.
No, he was great. He averaged 38 points a game. I agree.
Y'all missed that part.
He looked like he was going to be the best player in the playoffs for a game.
He
and a
didn't look
half.
like he was gonna be. He looked like he was. He didn't
That's
look
how
like he was
sample size
gonna
a
be.
game and a half. That makes me a top 5 player in the
I
world.
don't need to see
Game
you
and a
do
half,
something 100 times to
What?
convince me. I see
You really so you really taking out the chick who looks good. You ain't gonna check her credit. You're not gonna find out who she hanging out with.
Well,
You're not gonna find out what she works. You just went out on a date with her.
I'm
Had a
not
good conversation.
I'm not no
Y'all marrying
sentimental
this chick.
dude.
Come on, big
Well,
guy.
Chilton, I'm not no sentimental dude. I'm just trying to hit it and quit it. I'm not trying to marry the chick.
No, you a wholesome dude. You a wholesome dude.
I'm very wholesome, but sometimes I just need to crack something though. You know what I mean?
I don't know nothing about that. I can't speak to that.
We're not doing credit checks. That's crazy.
Children in here, we believe in sustainable, lifelong, monogamous marriages. Ox, look at Ox. That's a married. Look at that dude. That's a man want to be married with a family one day. Look at that. Anyway, look, move on. This one I want to ask you.
Before you get married though, take out.
No, I ain't said nothing. I ain't said nothing. Woman ain't no car. I'm not speaking to that. Anyway, listen. Look, let me ask you this, Ox. Since you over here doing all this jawing and talking, can you tell me, based on the game, not based on what he said, but based on his game and his outfit,
talking balls.
So based on what you, who are the top 5 players that game speaks for itself, but they didn't directly say it? Who are your top 5 players then?
Well, so I can't say LeBron because he said it.
Okay, so take James.
I can't say KD because you know his work.
Okay, so
you can't say KD.
Can we say KD or no?
You know who I am? No, because he spoke. He said
no, bro. Don't do that. So put LeBron and KD in there if you want. I want you to have a real list.
The top, my top 5 best players.
Yes,
and this is based on game.
No, the game speaks for itself.
Standing on game.
Whatever you stand on, whatever little business you stand on, whatever Burger King business you stand on, whatever McDonald's business you stand on, whatever Subway business you stand on, all that other stuff. Your top 5.
Okay, well, yeah. First of all, let me just mention this real quick because I don't know about all that YouTube and all that. Everything besides that,
stop ducking the question. Answer the question.
Relax, bro. Relax, shit. I got this. Yo, Swiper, this ain't no Mickey Mouse operation. I don't know about no little business. This ain't no Mickey Mouse operation. But let me see. I got Kawhi, obviously. Kawhi. We can go Jokic, obviously. Joel. Gotta go Giannis too.
The game speaks for itself, Big Ox. That's it. We're just talking about the game.
Game speaks for itself. I gotta keep Joel, gotta keep Giannis, gotta keep Jokic, gotta keep Kawhi, and we could flip a coin for Bron and KD.
No, you can't flip. You gotta pick.
Pick one.
Okay, I gotta pick one. Pick one. Okay, well then give me the old man.
So James,
you leaving KD out? All right, okay.
I had to. I didn't want to, but I only got 5.
Game speaks for itself. All right.
Game speaks for itself. I wouldn't be mad at replacing Joel with KD if y'all want to. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool with me. Look, I think KD better when it matters most.
I could flip Joel and KD. I could do that. I'll do that. That's what I will do. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. So we got Jokic, Giannis, Kawhi, Bron, KD. Boom.
But you like pull-up shooting. Giannis can't do none of that. He can't post or pull up.
How you know what I like?
I've been listening to you, bro.
I like basketball.
I've been listening to you for over a year. I know what you think.
He know what you're gonna say before you say it. That's basically what he said.
That's crazy. I like pull-ups. I like pull-up middies. I do like pull-up middies. I'm a big fan of pull-up middies. I am.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Chill. Yeah, where Tatum at? Tatum on that list for you, Chill?
Yes.
No,
top 5.
Who you taking off? Who you taking off, Joe? Go ahead. Let me hear you live.
And then West, I gotta hear yours next.
Oh, Embiid.
But you leaving KD off? So you leaving KD off and putting him?
I told I'm on record saying this.
You think Tatum better than KD right now?
He's the best small forward in the game.
No. You think KD? You think he better?
I do.
No, but based on what? Based on what? No, I'm asking. Based on what?
Well, better than Kawhi too,
It's Chilltown because I said so is an answer.
No, it is not. Absolutely, it's not. No, it is not. Okay, so let's talk about Jayson Tatum, his ability to score. Right? Let's discuss that for a second. Kawhi Leonard, I won't lie. Kawhi Leonard got a better mid-range game than Jayson Tatum. I will not. I won't even argue that.
This is before you get to KD. All right, okay. KD got a better one too.
KD got a better. Both of those guys got better mid-range games. I think that Jayson Tatum at this point in his career as a one-on-one player has gotten much better. Not only has he gotten much better, I feel like the divide. Kawhi Leonard has been good on defense. I don't think he's been better.
Yes, he has.
I don't think he's been better. I don't think he's been that much better.
Has Tatum been a better defender than Durant this year?
Yes, I think so. Yes, I'll give you KD at the rim. I'll give you KD at the rim.
Rim protection matters.
100% it does. I'll give you KD.
You said a better defender than Kawhi too.
I don't think that Kawhi Leonard has been that much better if he's been a better defender than Jayson Tatum. Because I feel like on ball, I feel like Jayson Tatum has definitely taken a step this year.
Who's he been the primary defender on this year though? Like and ran it down.
Well, first of all, there's many players in the league today. You do a lot of switching. So because you do a lot of switching, same thing happens with Kawhi Leonard. You do a lot of switching. Same thing happens with Paul George. So when you do a lot of switching, you don't get on a primary defender. I mean, not a primary defender. You don't get on the team's best defender, the best offensive player, the whole game. So I don't think that we can have the conversation that Kawhi Leonard is covering a guy like he did. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about
KD's one of the best rim protecting forwards in the league this year.
Right. As a help side defender, 100%.
He's not been a snooze on all ball defense either.
And I can say the same thing about Jayson Tatum as an off-ball defender.
But
he's been a better off-ball defender in terms of on the wing. He's definitely been that.
Man, y'all gassing Washington and Charlotte with.
What's your five? What's your five, Swiper?
Well, no, I'll answer. I want to finish. So go ahead.
Yeah, let's stay here. So with that all being said, I am on record saying that I can't hold these guys back, these young dudes back, even if these older dudes are still playing at a high level. I'm not just going to hold Jayson Tatum back because KD is still averaging 27 a game. When I think about how much better Jayson Tatum has improved over the last 2 years, how much better he's gotten as a mid-range shooter. In fact, I think that he's shooting, 45% in the mid-range this year, which is, I think that's elite, to be quite honest with you. Not only that, him being a better defender, the fact that the crew that he is on enhances his skill. We don't say that about nobody else. We don't say that about anybody else when they get on a better crew. When they get on a better crew, it's not, yo, this guy's on a better team and enhances his skill. We actually use that. We don't use that as a detriment. We use that for Jayson Tatum, and we don't use that with other guys. When we talked about Kevin Durant when he got on the Warriors, it was actually a good thing when he got with KD. I mean, with Steph Curry.
But Shill, I'm trying to figure out what has Tatum outright done better than Kawhi Leonard this year? That's my question.
I just think he's been in terms of an all-around player, I feel like he's just been better.
He's a worse offense. He's a worse scorer than Kawhi. He's a worse scorer. Kawhi can score in same volume, near same volume, much better efficiency. He's obviously a better free throw shooter, a better three-point shooter, a better mid-range shooter. And then defensively, I don't really think there's a conversation between Kawhi and Tatum like defensively. I think when Kawhi's been healthy,
like you think he clears him? For the numbers, like I'm watching the numbers because like you just talked about real quick, Swipe, and I'm gonna let you make your point. But you talking about the numbers? I watched him shut the door on SGA when they played against Oklahoma City in the last 5 minutes of the game. He didn't score. He shut the door on him. He didn't score a bucket, not one bucket. Jayson Tatum was switched on to SGA when they played Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City, and at the last 5 minutes of the game, which is clutch, Jayson Tatum shut the door on SGA. I watched that with my own eyes. Now, I can appreciate your logic with the numbers because I care about the numbers too, 100%. But the eye test does matter also. The eye test also does matter.
I guess what I'm saying, though, is like he's obviously, clear or not, he's obviously a better defender. And I think my issue with the Kawhi thing is like, you can't even make an offensive argument for JT over Kawhi. I think could just, honestly, like maybe if you're bringing in passing or something like that, that's cool. But it's not like it's a margin, like a big margin or anything. But I just think it's a score. Like I don't know. I think I'm confused about this. And then and Chill, I'm gonna say this. I respect you. I respect you.
You went out.
Holding on. I feel.
Hold on, Swiper. You went out. I didn't hear you. Go from the top. What you just said.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you hot now. Go ahead.
I think you're holding on to something you said early in the year and you just don't want to relent, because I can make an argument that between LeBron, Kawhi, Durant, and Tatum has been the worst player of all four of those players.
Where's Jimmy? Oh, we talking about this year. We talking about this year. Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy's not been better.
I forgot. We can't start talking about Jimmy till April. My bad.
Right.
Now, Swipe. Make sure we clear on something. Now, at the end of this season, if I'm wrong, I will definitely eat it. You know what? Kawhi Leonard was better this season. At the end of the season, if I'm wrong, LeBron James was better. At the end of the season,
you don't think LeBron James has been better this year? Honestly,
I don't think he's been better than Jayson Tatum.
What has to happen, Showtime, for you to feel like they're better? Like they got to go further in the playoffs or something, or what?
I just feel like at the end of this season, what happens with Jayson Tatum, I just can't see the same thing that I saw as a player. I feel like his improvement. I feel like it's been a lot better than what it was in the past.
But even LeBron, though, LeBron is a league's world passer playmaker. He's been a better scorer. He's averaging 25 on really good efficiency. So you still think? Keep on. I'm sorry. Keep going. No, that's fine. I'm just saying, like your argument for LeBron is going to be defense, but we know that's effort with LeBron. Like he can't do that on every possession anymore. But I just think LeBron overall, like it's just, and then even as carrying a team, like LeBron's been better. Like Tatum just doesn't have to do as much. But even if Tatum was asked to do it, I don't think he could do it to the level that LeBron has done it at this point in time.
We can't use that. Then we can't use that. We can't use the fact
that LeBron having to do it with the worst team and still being a more efficient and better offensive player.
Right.
That's a big deal.
But the difference, though, Swiper, is that the fact that I'm on a better team, I can't negate my production. I'm still doing work on a better team.
He's been less efficient on a great offensive team, and he's had less offensive value than LeBron, who's had a much worse situation around him, is my point.
Well, I think that's largely due to James having to do more. So I don't have to do as much. So, of course,
no, but you should do more. You should be less efficient.
That's not necessarily true. I don't know if that's 100% true. But if I'm playing, for example, if I'm playing with KP, if I'm playing with Drew Holiday, well, I don't have to shoot as much. So the shots that I shoot or the shots that I get maybe go down. And the shots that I get, I'm used to having the ball in my hands a little bit more. I'm used to having the ball in my hands differently in the offense. But now we got different guys. I got a stretch five now. Not only do I have a stretch five now, I got a point guard who speeds up the game. So I don't have to do as much offensively like I had to do last year when I was averaging 30 a game, when we didn't have this sort of stuff.
Yo, Wes, I gotta ask you, what's your top 5 current players?
Oh, you guys are not gonna like this.
Kuzma. Oh, sorry.
Johnny Davis, Corey Kispert.
No, I'm gonna say the 5, and then I'm probably gonna reorder them. But it's Luka, Shea, Giannis, Jokic, LeBron, and
I don't hate it.
Then Embiid. But Embiid's not healthy. Embiid would be in my top 5 if he was healthy. That makes it difficult for me. But Shea has been phenomenal on both sides of the ball. He's been a high-level scorer. He did get locked up by Tatum, but that happens. And then everything else, I feel like I don't really need to explain.
Is SGA an all-league defender this year?
No.
I wouldn't say he's all league, but if I recall correctly, he's like top 15 in defensive rating. And I know that doesn't mean everything, but he's been very strong defensively, especially at the one spot.
He'll get some All-NBA defense votes.
Yeah. Let me double check one.
Shout out SGA though. I didn't like
defensive rating right now. He's 12th in defensive rating right this second, amongst players that have played more than 2,000 minutes.
I care about defensive rating. I just don't care about it as much as you guys do, because I'm on record that Larry Bird got a better defensive rating than Scottie Pippen. So that's all I'm gonna say about it.
All right, y'all. I got a couple super chats. Let's go ahead and continue to make this happen. Big Dom Rich said, "Who's the last guy to win a scoring title and a championship in the same year?"
Shaq did it in 2000. I was about to say Jordan in 98, but Shaq did it in 2000.
Not Kobe in 08, 9, 10.
Shaq in 2000.
Shaq was the last one?
Yes, it's Shaq.
Who was before that? Michael?
Curry would have won it in 16. Curry would have won it in 16.
Yeah, but he folded. So.
Laundry.
Wow.
Which I got a question for you guys, and I was thinking about this yesterday. So as of today, I'm thinking about Ox's Sacramento crew. They're in the play-in tournament, but Dallas could look like they're big. It could be Dallas in the play-in tournament. I think it's going to be these 4 teams. So, is there going to be a narrative? 2 of these 4 teams are not making the playoffs. So Dallas, Phoenix, the Lakers, Golden State. 2 of those 4 teams are not making the playoffs.
Or the Kings.
Yeah,
we're gonna get that 6 seed. We'll be all right.
So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that you get that 6 seed.
We're gonna get that 10 seed, but I mean, like,
so it's Dallas. So Dallas, Phoenix, Golden State, and the Lakers. 2 of those 4 teams are not making the playoffs. And this is a really, and I'm going to leave the floor to you guys. What's the logic on Luka if he doesn't make the playoffs for the 2nd year in a row? What's the logic on KD? What's the logic on KD if he doesn't make the playoffs with this crew? What's the logic on Curry if he doesn't make the playoffs for the 3rd time in 5 years? And what's the logic on James, this would be the 3rd time in 6 years? That means half of his career with the Lakers, he did not make the playoffs. What's the logic on these dudes?
Steph
I
and
can give
Luka
you all the excuses.
Steph
Curry,
Steph and Luka are
not
safe.
enough shooters. Not enough shooters. They weren't good enough. Chris Paul was old. Bad trade. Steve Kerr. That's going to be the primary thing. Very top. It's going to be Steve Kerr. Not enough pick and roll.
So if this is the list, it's right at the top of the list.
Yeah, that's Steve Kerr. Number 2 at the Lakers is going to be Darvin Ham, Rob Pelinka, Gabe Vincent, and then Anthony Davis. Too inconsistent. That's exactly what it's going to be. And then for the Mavericks, it's going to be Kyrie Irving missed 20 games or whatever else it was. They didn't do enough at the trade deadline, and then everybody but Luka fell apart, even if Luka's inefficient in the play-in, because he's doing everything, so why, whatever. And then the last team in there is Phoenix. Health, they didn't have enough all year. 4th quarter they fell apart consistently. Kevin Durant didn't hit enough of his shots, but Kevin Durant, he is Teflon though, so no matter what happens, it doesn't matter. He's not getting blamed for anything. Booker and Bill are going to carry that blame.
You don't think so?
What are you talking about, Swipey? You're lying.
If
Kevin Durant doesn't make the playoffs, it's you know how bad that's going to be for him.
If the Suns lose to the Warriors in a playing game,
Warriors. Well, it
don't matter who they lose to, Mars. Kevin Durant is cooked all summer. The only
Warriors will add extra cooking.
Luka is safe. Luka's the only one safe. Steph is a little safe. Steph is
he can't be safe at 25.
Steph and LeBron.
I don't think
Steph, LeBron, and
KD
are the ones.
He's just safe from the world. Luka is fine.
No, he won't be. He's 25 and back-to-back missed playoffs.
He was safe last year. He's gonna be safe this year.
He wasn't safe last year.
It's gonna be Tim Hardaway Jr., Jason Kidd. He's the best player in the world. He's such a great passer. He scored 70-something points. He's the best player. This and that. If they got Tim Hardaway out of his way, he would be a champion. You already know. Steph Curry is safe. LeBron is gonna get talked about bad, but he has Darvin Ham.
No, he's not. It's LeBron.
Who's gonna get it the worst?
LeBron gets talked about bad for being
who's gonna get it the worst is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant.
No, he won't. Where have you been since 2017?
I've been outside. Where you been?
No, he has not. Well, honestly, when they got swept by Jayson Tatum and them, they blamed Joe. I've never seen this before in my life. They blamed Joe Tsai, the owner, and they blamed Kyrie and the vaccination issues for why they did not win that series. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
I don't know.
Who's they?
Well, that's what the conversation. Kevin Durant for me did not catch real flack for getting swept that year. It was all understandable to a point.
It was going crazy.
Who?
Our show, yes.
Everyone was.
It was.
I didn't know y'all. I couldn't speak to this. Y'all didn't know me.
Yeah, that's right.
I was on the internet. Y'all knew who I was. You just didn't
I'm in
want
an
to show
echo
no
chamber.
love. I get it. I understand.
It wasn't happening. So
I don't personally. I don't think. I think Kevin Durant in the hoop circles. This is a hoop circle for sure. But I don't think he was getting castigated by the media and all that for what was going on. I mean, respectfully, I'm saying respectfully. I disagree with that large part. Ron, do you think different?
I got to go around and ask everybody who's going to be the person that's most disrespected or talked about. So, Swiper, who do you got?
If what?
At the scenario that Chill just presented, out of the 4 players, if they don't make the playoffs, who gets disrespected the most or who gets talked about the worst?
The worst?
Yeah.
I mean, anyone like of a major player or just anyone?
No, of Steph, We got Steph, Luka, KD, and Bron.
Luka. Yeah, Steph, KD, Luka.
Man, it has to be Luka. It's going to have to be Luka. He's in his prime. He's 25. Back to back, yeah. It has to be Luka because everybody else got him. Like LeBron got out. They ain't even gonna say nothing. They're not gonna mention bologna. They're not gonna mention bacon. They're not gonna mention turkey. They're gonna say ham. We lost because of ham. Ham took us out of here, and this is why we didn't win in the play-in.
All right, Ox. It sounds like you got KD.
Oh yeah, I got KD by a mile. Like Luka, they can't blame Luka because they gave him too much love too early. So it'd be like one of those things where you just got to die on that hill. Yeah, it's KD. I think Steph is by far the safest of everybody.
All right, Wes, what do you think?
They've been saying Steph has no help all year, and as far as the media is concerned, Kevin Durant's probably going to catch it the most because he's the best player and on that team, and it's a team of all-stars. And so Kevin Durant is probably going to catch it the most, but I don't know if that's necessarily fair. They are terribly not deep at all. And so if it's like, it almost feels like if it's not their big three, they don't have anything. So, but it's going to be KD.
All right. Mars, who you got?
It's always LeBron James.
No matter what.
It's always LeBron James.
It's going to be years old.
It's going to be LeBron has Anthony Davis and he can't make the playoffs. If Michael Jordan had a player like Anthony Davis, he'd make the playoffs. If Michael Jordan just had to be a top 10 seed and had to win one elimination game, he'd make the playoff. Like, come on, man, it's LeBron James.
Wes, is that milk?
It's actually a half gallon of lemonade.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
It's just a light.
You should have just rolled with that.
Milk would be insane.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking, bro. Yeah.
All right, chill. Who do you think?
I think today it's going to be KD. I think years down the line, when we start having the GOAT conversations and what people project Luka to be, it's going to be Luka. You missed the playoffs twice in your prime. With Kyrie Irving, and I don't think he is either, Big Ox. But the way it's projected,
right.
The way it's projected with Luka later on down the line, that's what it's going to look like. You missed the playoffs twice in your prime with Kyrie Irving, with Jayson. It's gonna look real tricky. But today it would definitely be KD because you set this crew up. Even though the roster completely got flipped, it got flipped over in half, right? The roster got flipped over in half to start the season. And I think Bradley Beal and Devin Booker have played a combined 20 games together, something like that. So they haven't really been able to see each other, but that's not going to matter. This team got together specifically to win the NBA championship. And if they didn't make the playoffs, it's going to be a ridiculous failure.
Damo, what's good? I got to ask you a question. Same question we all just answered. Out of these four guys, if they don't make the playoffs, who's going to catch the most flack from the media and from us and just from everybody in general? You got Luka, Steph, LeBron, and KD.
Who's going to get the most hate out of those four if they don't win?
Now, Damo, the question was set up where if you look at the landscape of it, so Luka would miss the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. Curry would miss the playoffs for the third time in 5 years. Kevin Durant getting on this crew and they missed the playoffs with both a young Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, who's injury-riddled, by the way. And then you got James, who missed the playoffs half the time he's been in Los Angeles.
LeBron's 40. Kevin Durant has injuries.
He's 39. Knock it off, guys. Okay.
Stephen Curry, that team is tired. For me, by default, I would say Luka because Luka has, I guess, the most expectations out of those four at this point. Like those other three, they're kind of at the tail end of their books. Like their books are written. They're at this point, they're adding fluff, they're adding extra stuff, they're adding little tidbits at the end of the book. With Luka, we are still in the beginning chapters. We still at the beginning of your book, buddy. We still writing your book. Plus, you missed the playoffs last year. Everyone said it was because you weren't healthy. Now this year you're healthy, but to be fair, Kyrie missed games, but I mean he's still been there more than a lot of other people this year. But I would still say Luka, in my opinion. I would think Luka gets the most heat for missing the playoffs.
Okay, I'm running the poll right now, and Luka is leading the poll with 43% of the votes. KD has 36, LeBron has 17, and the media's darling Steph only has 3% of the votes. Shout out to Steph. He's safe. People have
We
spoken.
knew that though.
Yeah, Steph safe for sure.
KD built that team though.
Okay, so what if the Warriors miss the play-in completely?
He's
That's
safe. He's safe. He's safe, Mars.
Interesting.
Steph is safe, my brother.
I still feel like he's
The
safe.
Warriors are going to miss the play-in.
You know, but again, everybody's gonna blame the fact that it's all gonna come down to ownership. It's gonna come down to the Mike Dunleavy. Oh, I can't believe they signed Sark, CP3, and they thought that was gonna help Steph's legacy. They didn't run that pick and roll. I'm telling you, this is how it works.
They should have just traded him, like I said. I don't know. Whatever though.
Where would you have traded them?
It don't matter really. I was thinking OKC or Orlando. Well, initially,
You'd be cold with the Heat.
I was saying Houston. I was saying Houston, but
you don't even like Steph in Houston. Well, you ain't in Houston, so never mind. All right. Cool.
Exactly. I just want the team to be good.
Yeah,
But
all
right, y'all.
It's too late now.
It's about that time to get into the title of the show. I was waiting for my good friend Damo to come join the crew. Now we ready to rock and roll.
Hey, Damo, pass that before we go any further.
You know I will, chill.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you, brother. Actually, you don't have to pass that. I got something for you today, so you ain't got to pass. I got something for you today, brother. Because I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that dude. Like every time you show up, it's that. Nah, I got you today, brother.
Chill got the gas.
Yeah,
that was a good day.
I got you.
That was a good day when Chill got the gas.
All right, so the Pelicans are currently the 5th seed. They're a game and a half out of the 4th spot behind the Clippers. But since All-Star break, this team has been looking good. They currently are in their last 10 games, 7-3. Did lose last night to the Magic, but Zion's been looking good. This team has been looking good. And we've talked about them a little bit as being, a team that a lot of teams might not want to play come playoff time. But now I really got to ask you guys. I got to put the diamond tester to the Pelicans and ask, how serious do we think the Pelicans are?
Well, let's start the conversation with. Let's start the conversation with. We dodged a bullet. It's a bone bruise. So.
Last time Brandon Ingram had a bone bruise, he missed like 3 months.
Well, I mean,
and now it's his toe.
Well, we don't know how serious it is. He'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks, so that's a good thing. No ligaments torn, no broken bones. It's a bone bruise. So,
what bone is bruised?
His knee.
Yes, knee. Oh, so he like went knee to knee with somebody or something?
Yeah, no, it looked like he hyperextended it, but they said it's a knee contusion. Yeah. But last time he had a bone contusion, we said, "Oh, it's just a bone bruise," and we saw him like 5 times for the rest of the season.
He basically had turf toe.
So when it comes to Brandon Ingram and bone bruises, let's not just act like it's just 2 weeks he'll be fine.
No turf toe ain't no joke, Chilltown.
Right, it's not.
No guarantee. That's all I'm saying. No guarantee.
It is
but I hope he's okay.
With or without Brandon Ingram, the Pelicans are a first-round exit in my eyes.
Who would they play in the first round right now?
The Clippers. They play the Clippers.
Oh no! They got something for the Clippers.
They getting through the Clippers.
They got something.
I don't think so.
The regular season is anything to go.
I'm about to say, yeah. Not even just that. I don't know if people trust anything LA that's not the Lakers at this point.
Not the Lakers. Nothing in LA. Period. Don't act like the Lakers are in the trust category. No, I'm saying, but don't say like
yo, hold up right quick. Let Wes finish his caveat. Why don't you trust the Pelicans?
Because I think that I just don't know if they're a team that is going to be able to consistently string together stops against the Clippers. I mean, the Clippers have too much. And I know that the Clippers choke in the playoffs, but they choke in the second round of the playoffs. And I think that, like with Brandon Ingram, I think you can throw Paul George, you can throw Kawhi, you can throw them a lot of different things. So if they match up against the Clippers, and as it stands right now, they do, I don't think they can get past them.
How many times have the Clippers beat them in the last 4 years?
Twice.
I was going to say once. So
Well, that's because of Zion, though. Zion's the issue, other than Brandon.
They're 11-2.
CJ McCollum.
The last
and
4 years.
Valanciunas versus Zubac is.
What's happened in the last 4 years is so irrelevant.
Pelicans. That's
so irrelevant.
Why is it irrelevant, Ox?
It's so irrelevant.
Why?
Because you're talking about what happened 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Who cares?
That's why you got Kawhi in your top five.
Yeah.
That's why you got Kawhi in your top five.
We're talking about this shit. No, it's because what you said was dumb, Swiper. Who cares
you
about
got
what
Kawhi in your top five based on what he did 4 years ago?
No, I'm last year.
Over the last 4 years.
What happened? What happened against the Suns? That was last year. That was
a game and a half. When have we ever had a guy a game and a half in the playoffs?
And it was amazing.
Coming into the next season, he's a top 5 player in a game and a half in the playoffs.
Okay, so then y'all
You brought up PG hitting the backboard in 2020. Ox.
Ever put Joel in another list again? All right, Chilton. I don't ever put Joel in another list.
I don't have Joel as a top 5 player, and the reason why I don't have him as a top 5 player is because of him being able to hold up and what he's done in the playoffs. I'm on record saying that.
Jerry West was a top 5 player in 1968.
We can't base what's going to happen in this 7-game series. In a 7-game series, based on what happened 4 years ago. That's my only point. It's new teams. Players got better. Like what's some kids' name? Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. Those got better.
All right. Well, look, I don't care. I don't care what your name is.
Zion. You see Zion's midsection. It looks like he left the gumbo and po' boys alone for a little bit.
He looked great.
So that's what I'm saying.
He down 25 pounds.
This is not the same team last year, the year before that. This is a different team. That's all I'm saying. We can't.
What do you think? So who you picking?
Which is why I think they'll give them problems in the first round. Which is why I think the Clippers are really like. When you look around, that's a bad one. They're a bad matchup for a lot of teams. With Zion in shape, with how they're playing. I know I was Mr. Blow It Up. I know I was Mr. A trade Zion and BI. I'm still on that. I still think you trade them. Don't get me wrong. Trade both of them. Still, yeah, I'm still on that. Ooh. But in terms of a Clipper matchup, I think cool. In terms of a Clipper matchup, I'm not gonna lie to you. I just think they have defensively, they match up really well with the Clippers. And with Tyronn Lue, the small ball merchant against that team, I don't like the outcome of that. That is a recipe for failure on the Clippers.
They playing Kawhi 5.
Oh my God, they might put Russ at the 5 for all I know. I don't know who
stop, yo. Don't do this. Are we putting Leonard at the 5 again? Is that what we really doing?
Yeah, that's what happened last year. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Why on JV, man? Come on, bro. Kawhi on Valanciunas? Are we serious?
Valanciunas can't guard.
Valanciunas can. If the thing is, Valanciunas is hitting his shots too. Then that's why that series is so tough.
Can't guard on the perimeter.
Who's Zubac? Zubac
cares.
Who's Zubac?
They don't need Valanciunas.
They don't need no guard. Give me the 5.
They got Herb Jones and Trey Murphy for that, and Dyson Daniels. We good.
The Clippers closing 5. I think it's Harden, George, Leonard. Who am I thinking about? The kid from UCLA, not Man, but the other one. Norman Powell, and I think they go with Dice. I think that's that's their closing 5.
If you don't put JV on Daniel Dice, what are we talking about?
I think that's their closing 5. What? Yes. I think that's what
he could play in that lineup easily.
And then
the Clippers have to make a lot of jumpers to beat the Pelicans. A lot of them. And the Clippers can shoot. But they have to make jumpers because they're not going to get to the rim. Paul George already doesn't like going to the rim. And against a team that stops people from getting to the rim. Hot take. Paul George is going to be very inefficient against the Pelicans if they play in the playoffs. Very inefficient. That's not me pushing playoff folder narratives about Paul George. I just think they're a bad matchup for Paul George. I just think he's going to be very inefficient against them. Because he's already a very heavy jump shooter, especially in the mid-range.
Why doesn't Paul George get to the rim as much as he used to? Is that largely due to the fact that he got some years on him? So
he's older, his athleticism has declined, and also I also think he likes shooting jumpers. I think he's a finesse player. He likes shooting jumpers, so he's gonna settle for jumpers if he creates a bit of daylight. He's gonna take jumpers. He's not trying to get all the way downhill. And if he is, he's not a great finisher anymore. Like he's not Indiana PG or OKC PG in terms of finishing around the rim. So I think it's likely he'd be inefficient. I think James Harden, he's going to take a bunch of threes anyway. I think they play into the Pelicans' hands. I think that's what it is. Doesn't mean I think they're going to lose. I don't know. But I think I don't think it's just a foregone conclusion. The Clippers win because I think the Pelicans match up with them very well. Not to mention, Tyronn Lue doesn't know what to do with Zion.
I was going.
Nobody
Oh my
does.
gosh.
You already beat me to it, Mars.
He has
Some
no idea.
teams
how
do.
he
Some
has
teams do.
no
but
idea.
not the
Some
Clippers.
teams do. But
Sniper,
It's gonna be Kawhi.
who's the best? Who's the best matchup in the NBA to guard Zion? Is it Bam?
It's gonna be anybody with the front court side.
No,
I'm saying
not
anybody, but I'm saying it's gonna be the Nuggets, the Wolves, the the Bucks,
Aaron
the Bucks.
Gordon.
Yeah, like anybody has that.
You got like a one-on-one matchup, or just like a team. Like who's the best player to guard him?
Yeah, I think.
I know you got to do it by committee. I know, but
player would be like an Aaron Gordon type, in my opinion.
Aaron Gordon, Giannis.
But Giannis, yeah, like one of them big dudes. Anthony Davis at the 4. If they played him at the 4 with the 5, that would be one of those kind of lineups. Like you got to have real size down there.
Tyronn Lue baffled at trying to defend Zion. The Clippers might be the worst in the league at defending Zion.
They're going to put Kawhi in.
He puts Mason Plumlee on him and drops Mason Plumlee all the way to the box, where basically Zion gets a head of steam and attacks him. What's going on?
How long I've been trying to say that? How long I've been trying to tell that? Like I teach that all the time. That's my main thing. Like if you got a guy that's this big, you cannot let them get momentum. You have to stop them. Once somebody that's big gets 2 or 3 steps going this way, especially if they can go side to side even a little bit, you're cooked. You're cooked. There's nothing you can do against that. You got to guard them just like you'll guard a shooter. Maybe not like just like you'll guard a shooter. Like you don't got to step on their toes, but you got to be able to touch them. You know what I'm saying? Or you're done, bro.
One of the things that I really don't think we've talked about as much, and I think we're going to talk about this later on. I think Willie Green should be in the Coach of the Year conversation. I think he's done a great job with this New Orleans team. One of the adjustments that he made that I really like was putting Zion at the lead guard. I don't think that we give Zion enough credit for his playmaking and getting downhill and being able to pass. He took him out of the dunker spot against bigger teams and put him at the lead guard to drag bigger guys like Plumlee, like Theis away from the basket. And that's an adjustment that Ty Lue didn't adjust to. So when he does that, I think that makes New Orleans even better. Now, sure, Zion can't shoot, so you're going to back off him. But what's the other side to that is he's got a full head of steam. So you're not just going to stand in front of him. He's really good with his body at avoiding contact. So he's not just going to run you guys over, and he can pass too. So I think that was a really good adjustment from Willie Green. Plus getting guys like Trey Murphy in action and getting guys like Trey Murphy wide open for threes. So I think Willie Green, when we talk about stuff like Coach of the Year, I think Willie Green's definitely going to be in that conversation.
Showtime, you've convinced me. I'm about to go put some money on the Pelicans to win the West.
Do y'all think Mark Dagnall's been the real Coach of the Year? He's just going to win by default because they made such a big improvement.
I think he's going to win by default. Yeah, I do.
Because what's the name? Like Missoula's going to be second, and I don't agree with that at all. I think, I think
who's done a better job than Dagnall this year?
Well, I'm saying, but like I think there's a few coaches that I think Jamal Mosley has been incredible this year with that young roster. You know, like the fact that they've been able to do what they do. They've been a top 10 offense defense for the last since the All-Star game. They've been a top 10 defense all year. You got Paolo playing better. And again, they were doing it without Fultz, without Cole Anthony at different points in time this year. They got Anthony Black coming off the bench. Wendell Carter. Mo Wagner was in there playing. Like they have just, and France is playing better. They have just been so good. Willie Green, I think Jamal Mosley, I think Mark Dagnall. I suppose sure
Ime
Udoka's been good this year. But again, I think he's done a good job getting them set, getting them real structure. Michael Malone's never going to win it. I think Spo and Malone will never win it. They're never going to win it. Circumstances will always apply. They'll never win it. I think that. Even Chris Finch, he's been good. And y'all, the record don't show it. The record don't show it. Taylor Jenkins has been great. Great. They have dealt with more injuries than anybody else in the NBA, and yet they still have been competitive in almost every game that they played in. For the most part.
Still trying to win games. What is Memphis doing, Dom?
It's about this is the thing. No, we talk about the NBA and we talk about franchises with losing culture, and then you guys criticize the Grizzlies for trying not to build a losing culture.
It's not about trying to build a losing culture. It's about
they don't want to get used to you losing, so they're trying to be competitive.
And they're not going to get to. They're not going to get to.
Yeah, the culture's already different. They already abandoned the losing culture the moment Ja Morant arrived, and established himself as the best player. After Ja Morant's second year, the losing culture was gone with the Grizzlies. It was a different culture, thanks to Ja. You're not going to have losing culture now that Ja's hurt. If Desmond Bain, who just now recently got back, did he not? Because I've had him in fantasy. The nigga's been out for damn near 2 months. So Desmond Bain not being there, like your best players aren't there. This isn't building loser culture. You understand, all right, guys aren't here. If you shut down Triple J, it's not building losing culture to have your developmental players and your young guys. GG Jackson, shout out GG Jackson, by the way. Told y'all about him. Having those guys get a bunch of minutes and playing and develop,
out of nowhere this year.
That's not building losing culture.
They still are getting minutes. GG Jackson is
just he's a real young wing. Came out of nowhere.
Vince Williams, when he's been healthy, has been playing. The young guys play. Zaire Williams still plays. Like they play.
I'm not saying they don't play, but I'm saying
they just aren't trying to get blown out in every game.
Marcus Smart.
It's not about trying to get blown out. It's just put those guys on the court, put other developmental guys on the court. I don't know, get Kenny Lofton. Just get guys to develop. I'm saying go get. I said go get. So go get someone else. Go get another developmental player this year. Anything else? Just develop. This is a developmental year.
Wait.
You can find you a guy.
Players you're not going to have next year to not.
What do you mean you're not going to have next year? You can resign these guys.
You're not going to have Kenny Lofton next year.
Why would you not have Kenny Lofton if you resign?
Because they had him this year and they got rid of him.
Okay, they got rid of him. You go get a guy again. I'm just saying Kenny Lofton is a name, Mars. Please stop.
I'm saying they're not going to bring in.
And they can resign the player. They can resign anybody.
But they don't need them because next year they're going to have their team healthy.
I don't know. I don't know what the argument is. I don't even know what the fucking argument is.
You're trying to tell the Grizzlies to lose on purpose. And I'm saying no.
Because their season is over. Wow.
I'm saying they don't want to get used to losing.
Well, I will say,
and they're not going to get
losing games.
I will say though, I think the reason why Mars is correct on this is because I think, Damo, this is just my opinion. I think that when you're this young, and they were the 2nd seed last year, so it's not like they haven't won. And the year before, were they the third? Were they the 3rd seed?
Second.
What they were? Second seed. The year before?
No.
Last year they were the 2nd seed. The year before.
Were they 6? They were 3 because I think they played the Wolves in the first round.
They played Minnesota in the first round. They still played Minnesota in the first round too.
Minnesota came out of the play-in. So they were 2.
In 22,
they were a higher seed. They were a higher seed.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
They were the 2nd seed 2 years in a row.
So I think this is where it is, Damo. I think because they already know what success looks like, and honestly, they don't need a lot more assets on their end. To them, I think they're just trying to build. This is what it takes for us. We want to win a championship. We need to compete, despite the fact that we're missing all these players. And I think what Taylor Jenkins has done, he's taken really young players, two-way players that are coming off an injury. No Marcus Smart, no Ja, no Bain for a while. And they're not having even Vince Williams coming off the bench, being a young player. Having the fact that they've had to alter their lineups all year. No Brandon Clark. They come back next year, Damo. They said, we know what Oprah say? I know what it means to fight. I know what it means to fight. And so by the time they come back next year, Ja Morant, he's fully locked in and engaged. He's not going to be in a situation where he's waving guns around or nothing no more. No more IG Live. No more Shotgun Willies in Colorado. All that stuff is out. They legitimately could make a real run next year, Damo. And I think a lot of the habits they're building right now are just going to help them do that next year. I am super excited for what they're going to do next year. They're going to get another big 2.
And Desmond Bain's a top 20 player in the NBA too.
They can still build those habits while trying to find more gems. If I look at this season, I see what they did this season with getting guys like Vince Williams. I see what they did this season by allowing guys like GG Jackson to develop and see how good he is. Once I see that Ja Morant isn't coming back, once I see Desmond Bain gets hurt for an extended period of time, and once I see Triple J, which again, I'm not watching all Memphis games. Does Triple J still look like a shell of himself without Ja? Because if that's the case, what is the point of having Triple J out here just being a shell of himself for culture's sake? All those guys are still trying to build culture on the sidelines, in the locker room, on practice every day with these young players. I'm trying to find as many gems as I can to go forward.
But they're already going to be a top 10 pick. They already got a top 10 pick.
I'm trying to have the highest possibility that I can.
No, but you know who they're going to get. You know who they're gonna get.
We don't have another center. I don't.
They gonna get my boy from Colorado, bro. They're gonna have nothing but defenders on that.
They're gonna get Cody Williams.
Bro, they're gonna get Cody Williams next year, bro. If they get Cody Williams with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Bain and Ja Morant.
All I'm saying
so you want Triple J at the 5. My thought process in this is they don't want Triple J at the 5.
I'm saying Cody Williams can play. Cody Williams at the 5.
Fellas, I gotta get to this super chat. For what it's worth, I agree with Damo. Tank can get the highest pick you could possibly get. But David Mujinaya said, what is the hottest take by someone on this panel that you disagreed with at the time, but agree now in retrospect?
That Jokic is the best player in the world. Chill came late to that.
I can't remember people's hot takes that I
The Lakers weren't good. They weren't any good. I can't. Damo came to that conclusion with me. I started the year off with that, and then he finally showed up to the party. A few months
this
later.
is the type of dude that smells his own farts and be like, "Oh man, it's not that bad."
That was
Like,
the question. That's literally the question.
That wasn't the question. The question was, what was the take from a panelist that you disagree with, and then you came around to? You automatically, I told Chill Chow, then he came around to it. I told Damo, then he came. Nigga, no one asked you that. That's not the question.
I see Damo on time into that. This is Damo.
That's not what we were talking about. That's not what we were talking about.
Does anybody have a take that
I'm
somebody
trying to
said that you disagree with? I can kick it off. I got one. Actually, is you, Damo. Remember in the offseason, you were telling me about this guy. You were saying he definitely needs to start. He's definitely the best big on their team, and that he's going to be a problem going into the future.
True.
He's had a few 2020 games this year. Looks like he's legitimately the second best player on the team, and he will be starting the center for the Detroit Pistons for a very long time.
Domo getting credit for Jalen Duren is insane, but
I'm glad you see the light. I'm glad you finally.
Thank you for putting me on.
Yeah, that's insane.
I was the one that said the best duo on the Pistons was in fact Cade and JD, and was told I'm bugging. Where's Ivy? But I'm glad you see it. So yeah, you're right.
Thank you for pointing me in that direction, Damo. But speaking of which, Damo, do you need my Cash App or my PayPal? Or
Listen. You seem like a Cash App guy. I'll hit the Cash App, man. Damn, man, I got you. You sure you don't want the Mona Lisa? I thought you don't want the Mona.
Nah, other shoulder.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Right here. No. I would. I'm not gonna do you like that. That guy right there.
Oh, the bro. Oh no.
Yeah.
I'll get your Cash App game. Don't worry about it.
But hold on, I'm looking kind of.
I'm gonna say, oh yeah, y'all don't know if you really remember Mona for real.
Hold on, is Mona? What's that on the left chest? Yeah, we're gonna talk.
Come on now.
We're gonna talk. But fellas, take that somebody has said that you disagree with. Does anybody have anything?
Cade's Vorp.
Oh, damn.
The more I think about it, man, if he was really that impactful, I mean, he'd have higher than a 0.9 Vorp. So I thought about it last night, and I was like, and then I looked at the lowest Vorp in the NBA this season. Scoot Henderson. Makes sense. Highest Vorp. Jokic. Makes sense. Highest Vorp of all time. Like for a single season. Michael Jordan. Makes sense. Highest Vorp for a career. LeBron James. Makes sense. I look at Vorp, I'm like, okay, maybe it is the right stat to see who the better player is. So,
who are top three? Who's the top three in Vorp single seasons?
Single season highest Vorp of all time. MJ 90, 87, 88, number one. LeBron James 08, 09 is number two. Number
Magic,
three,
87?
Number three single season Vorp all time is MJ again in 89.
Yeah.
And then number four, David Robinson, 94. And then it's Michael Jordan again. LeBron, Dr. J, Michael Jordan again. KG, LeBron, Chris Paul, Jokic, Michael Jordan again. A lot of Michael Jordan, basically. So MJ is now the best player I've come to that conclusion.
The Vorp is a legit art. It's a legit conversation. It just wasn't for that. What we were talking about yesterday. That was the problem.
I believe
I got mine. I got mine now. Actually, now that I really think about it, there's not that many takes I so wholeheartedly disagree with that I came around to. So, I would say everyone on the panel and the entire PC community, in a sense, because when I said the Pistons can win 40 games and everyone called me crazy, I was like, y'all are wilding for not seeing the vision. Like I thought that was a crazy take to say that they couldn't. And now, as they sit with 12 wins. Y'all right. Man. Oh man, y'all
you might be right about the Rockets though. We might get to 40.
Loki. So think y'all are gonna come around to is that the Clippers?
We 6 wins away from 40 right now, so we might get there.
Did you say, Weiss, that a take that we're gonna come around to is the Clippers of what?
That the Clippers are gonna beat the Pelicans.
The Clips are gonna beat the Pelicans.
They're gonna outshoot them, and it's gonna be awesome. And I'm gonna come back on, and I'm gonna take my lap. It's gonna be great.
Yo, Wes.
I don't believe in the Clippers.
If that happens,
not even a little bit.
if that happens and I don't hit you up, you make sure to hit me up. Blow my phone up. Like, yo, Ron, I need to get on the show and come back and tell you guys I told you so. But I don't know, Wes, after hearing everybody's takes about the Clippers and the Pelicans, and I'm high on the Clippers, very high on the Clippers. I don't know if the Clippers really won it with the Pelicans.
The only difference between the Pelicans this year and last year is that Zion is playing games. I went back and looked at last year in preparation for the episode. The only difference is that Zion is on the floor, and he looks better at the end of games. He's already going to break his career high for games played in a season. And so a healthy Zion is a much better Pelicans team. But Brandon Ingram, like Mars said, we don't know what he looks like with a bone bruise. And I don't think they have enough. They're a strong interior defensive team, but I don't think they have enough perimeter defense to stop Paul George and Kawhi from creating shots for themselves and for others in the mid-range and open shots. And especially if they decide to not have a center on the floor at all and make Valanciunas work. And he's no slouch on the perimeter compared to other pure like 7-footers, but I think they'll be able to expose it the same way they did with Terrence Mann, and they picked on Rudy Gobert all series long. And I think it'll be similar to that.
That's different though. That's because the Jazz made a collective effort to say, all right, Rudy, leave Terrence in the corner. Just leave him. And Terrence hit every shot. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think he's ever played like that since. But I feel like that's a bit different than making
if they decide to bring him out, the reason they didn't is because they know he can't guard out there the same way Valanciunas can. Neither one of them can guard out there.
But the Pelicans play different defense. The Pelicans have guys who can stay in front of people. The Jazz didn't, so Rudy had to rotate. The way they use that, and if you bring Valanciunas into the screen, he just traps and they rotate behind the play. And respectfully, Paul George isn't a good enough playmaker to punish that type of defense. Now, James Harden
can play make.
James Harden is, but that means you have to take the ball out of Paul George and Kawhi's hands to have James Harden initiate offense to actually capitalize on those advantages. And if you want to do that, that's fine. But I think the Clippers live with that result. And James Harden still isn't comfortable making right-handed skip passes. And so he'd have to do it on one side of the floor, which means you're already cutting off one side of the floor completely just because James Harden isn't making a skip pass from the right side of the court to the left side. He's never done that in his career. And that's what you'd have to do to punish that Pelicans defense, because that's how good they are in pick and roll, and their rotations are great. Like they're not the Jazz. The Jazz couldn't stay in front of anyone, so Rudy was having to rotate. The Pelicans can stay in front of people. So you're going to have to and they're great in pick and roll defense.
Even with that being said, if we're looking at this Pelicans team and we're saying, okay, what if they just take the one center they have in LA off the floor and then run super small ball and try to bring the big out, and that's where they kill them? I mean, they can just take JV off the floor and put somebody else in there that's more mobile. They have other guys on this team. Like
the Clippers run small ball with Russell Westbrook though, so you still have Valanciunas on the floor.
I say, yeah, and God forbid they have Russ in there, then you're just gonna guard him. You're just be able to play the same defense on Russ the team's been playing for the past 5 years. Put your big on him so you stay in the paint, because we'll let Russ shoot.
Man, y'all really convinced me right now that the Clippers might get their ass kicked by the Pelicans.
I don't think they're gonna play each other. I think the Pelicans are gonna probably be the 6th seed, to be honest, because of BI being out. But for the sake of the argument, yeah.
That then leads me to my next question. Regardless of matchup, what's the deepest you guys can see the Pelicans going in the playoffs this year?
Conference finals. Oh, there you go.
But
I don't think they get there though. I think you need to have one of them ones.
Second round.
Brandon Ingram is one of them ones.
No, he's not. Please stop, Mark.
If it stays like this,
he's in conversations with Jalen Green right now.
Wow,
Jalen Green is one of them ones. What are we talking about?
That'd be the one.
So they'd have to play the 1 seed in the next round, Damo.
Right now, the 1 seed is who? OKC?
Yeah, could they beat
or the winner of the 1 and 8? The winner of 1 and 8, and let's not lie. Oh, if my Lakers mess around and get that 8,
here we go.
If we get that 8th seed, I definitely got us getting through the Thunder. And
LeBron can take advantage of the Pelicans defense.
I'm backing you on that. I'm with you.
Wes, why do you hate that, Wes? Why do you hate that, Wes?
We talking about the Kings beating the Thunder?
No,
we beating the hell out the
Lakers.
The
Lakers beat the Thunder.
Yeah, but you're getting packed up by the Pelicans, though. So.
Well, if we play them, I'm saying if we're lucky enough to play OKC, then we're second round team.
Lucky enough.
Yeah, second round team, and then you play the.
Y'all really think OKC is food, bro? I don't agree.
I think it's food.
I think we're a bad matchup. I just think we're a bad matchup.
Well, I can tell you, I can understand Damo, even though Damo has been a Laker fan for 4 years now. But that dude down there in the bottom left, that dude down there in the bottom left, SGA would absolutely grill, fry, and absolutely flamboil your squad. I'm talking about like Cook. J-Dub too.
Look, I'm not really listening to what you're saying about basketball.
Washington already
I don't really hold your takes.
Washington already put down the blueprint. That's what they did, big guy. Go after Keegan Murray. That's what they did.
That's not the blueprint, chill.
That's not the blueprint. Go after Keegan Murray.
Go after your two best players.
Hold on. That's what one team did. That's not the blueprint. When have you? That's what I'm saying. Let's talk about.
That's usually what happens.
How many times have you seen Keegan Murray get picked on, chill?
Oh, well, that's the thing. No, maybe
one time. All right, thank you. One time.
Hey, y'all. Last word. All I'm gonna say is this. I don't care. Mute his mic. I don't care if his name is Deer. I don't care if his name is Deer, Boar, elk, whatever you want to call it. It could be Moose. Thunder and six.
Later, Swipe. Be easy, brother.
All right. Yo. Bob, he just called you Moose.
Bro, like I said, I don't be listening to Swiper. Swiper is really only up here to troll. That's what he's up here to do. He's up here to troll and make it seem legit with stats. That's what Swiper does.
But hold on, Board ain't even in the Ox family though. Like that doesn't even like you know when you do the Bismack Biombos and all of that. Like
neither is Deer, but that's all right. They simple people, my bad. Simple people think that anything on four legs is related. But
simple, ain't you? You a simple ass.
Simon. What I wanted to say, because I missed that part. I just wanted to say that of all the takes that came up here that I didn't agree with, that I do agree with, there are none. I still disagree with all your takes. I don't respect any of your takes. I hate your takes. I don't listen to your takes.
Valid.
You weren't. I'm about to say you weren't all for my take on the Hornets should draft for fit over best value.
Oh no, I wasn't. Well, I didn't really.
I was wrong about that. I was wrong about that. Well, Brandon Miller is just better than Scoot, so they drafted the better player and the better fit. But yeah, I was wrong about that.
Trust me, I know you better. I said it. I said it multiple times. No one agreed with me. I remember distinctly. No one agreed.
I agree with you.
Dom, you was talking to me about that?
Ron was on the Brandon Miller train. Ron was.
I remember that.
It was probably overshadowed. Baby PG.
It was probably over. No, I definitely remember that one.
Not the first one, but I was
probably overshadowed. It was probably overshadowed by your Pistons hate. So I just didn't remember anything good that you said or agree with me with. That's probably what happened.
Yeah, but I was very wrong about Scoot. I had to go look back at my old videos of what I said about Scoot. Yeah, I was bad takes from me. Don't listen to me when it comes to the draft.
Can you imagine?
I'm like 20%.
And I'm pretty sure messing with the Hornets. They want to realize they need glasses.
The only players I've been right about from this draft, like the top picks, is Amen, Wemby. Who else was a top pick last year? I missed on Scoot so badly.
I was right about so many people in this draft, actually.
Oh, Anthony Black has been good.
We was on Anthony Black, Mars. You was on Anthony Black.
Taylor Hendricks has looked good since he started getting minutes in Utah, but a little too late. I was right about Cason Wallace.
I did not speak on Cason Wallace.
Keontae George. I was right about Keontae George. I told you guys about Keontae. Cam Whitmore's obvious. I told everyone about Cam Whitmore.
Bilal, I was
Jaime, I was wrong. I was wrong about Jaime.
I was higher on Bilal. I was super right on Jaime. Yo, where nigga Lamont at? I don't give a damn. Every time I think of Jaime,
Lamont was actually supposed to be up here this week, and he ducked.
Twice. Because every time I see Lamont,
I was wrong about Jaime and I was wrong about Scoot. Everyone else, I think I did okay. Jaime and Scoot, I was wrong.
The thing was last year I wasn't disagreeing with your Brandon Miller and Scoot.
Over Scoot.
I really didn't have too much of a opinion as far as that went. I was more so thinking about that for Portland, saying that I hope the Hornets draft Brandon Miller, because if they do, then I was thinking the Portland would have enough sense to trade that pick to New Orleans. Remember, I was saying that. To go get Brandon Ingram. So I can't really say if I agreed. I can't remember if I agreed or disagreed on who was better though. I can't really tell.
Let me just say, I will the two biggest victory laps in terms of draft that I'm taking. 3, Jaime, Brandon Miller, and GG Jackson. Not even
You definitely got to take that GG.
People just did it.
Oh, I was right about
Amani
Amani Bates, but that's a negative one.
Okay.
But I was right about him. I was
All
right.
right, so-
Come on, you get the Jaime, but I'm taking Jaime too. Like,
Yeah,
You got it.
Oscar Jaime for sure. I'm running circles on my Amen Thompson victory tour. I'm sorry. I told you.
I'm gonna say Chet was gonna
I got a horse in that race.
Oh,
said John Wall. John Wall.
And
do you
Keontae
remember
George.
him
I'm running
saying that
circles
his
of Keontae George, Amen Thompson, and Cam Whitmore.
Chill. Do you remember Ron saying that Amen's floor was John Wall?
He was nuts with that.
I remember he
20
said
He
that.
was nuts.
He said like statistically like 20 points, 10 assists.
Oh, that's West crying. Damo, I was like, is that? I was like, Damo.
I'm about to say, who got the grip running the back? I was saying the same thing.
Wes, it gets worse. Just so you know, just so you know, just so you know, Wes, it gets worse because Mars said that Thompson's floor was Magic Johnson. That's
With
what
athleticism.
Still.
yeah, he said that. He did say that.
Yo, I gotta get to this super chat though, y'all. My man David Mujinai sent through another one. And he said, "Who is the best player in the current NBA that you can see not making the Hall of Fame?"
None of them.
The best current player.
The best
Won't
player,
make
the
the
best
Hall?
player right now who we
That
could
won't
see
make the Hall of Fame.
making the Hall of Fame.
CJ
It would have to be an older guy, I assume.
I'm about to say CJ. Is it CJ? Off the top of my head,
There's no way
CJ.
he's
McCollum?
best.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I feel like that's the
player.
bar. The best player that won't make the Hall for right
You
now.
think De'Aaron Fox is gonna make the Hall of Fame?
He still has a
It's-
chance.
it's
I feel like
too
I feel
young.
like it's
He's
too
too
soon.
early to
Yeah, I
tell.
feel like
It's
he's
early
one of
to
those people
tell.
where it's too soon to tell. That's why I was thinking kind of later players.
26, but not everyone has LeBron longevity. Like,
Yeah, but
No,
he can if he can let's say if something crazy happened, we get the right two guard over there and say he grabs 2 rings. Say
I don't even think
say
he has to win. I don't think he has to win, Ops. I don't.
know. Nah, if he
I
stay
don't
with
think he has
the
to win.
Kings, if he stay with the Kings, he got to get a ring to
you,
get to the Hall
you
of Fame.
think Larry Markkinen gonna make the Hall of Fame?
That's too early to tell, Mars.
I'm saying
I don't
again,
think so.
early.
Why is it-
If you had
wait,
to- if you had
why
to
is it
guess,
too early
like,
to tell?
like,
Larry
I'm
Markkinen
not saying
is
it's
year
guaranteed
8.
they won't, but it said who's the best player who you think won't. I'm like,
Well,
Larry
because I
Markkinen
don't
is in
think
year
I don't think at this. Okay, so at this trajectory, no, Laurie Markkinen is not a Hall of Famer.
Carl Anthony Towns.
Yes.
I think Cat can make it.
Yeah, he got potential. He should. He should.
He has
Gotta be
potential.
on
Pascal Siakam.
Nah, no.
I
We
think he
giving
has
Cat
chance
too
to
much.
make
We
it.
giving Cat way too much.
I don't think we're giving Cat too much. I think we got to remember one. This is
He got to make a run, Damo. He got to make a run. He got to do some
He
play.
don't even have to make a run. He just got to do. He just has to have do some things that we just.
20 and 10. Ops, what are you talking about? What big is
Just
20 and
I don't
10
give-
for 6-7 years straight?
Because chill, if he don't
That's not in the
make
Hall
some
of Fame.
play, if he
So
don't make some
Antoine James
playoff
will make the Hall of
noise,
Fame?
if he don't make some playoff noise, he don't belong in the Hall of Fame.
And we're talking about in the Hall of Fame in general. We're not talking about first ballot. We're just talking about in the Hall of Fame.
They will make the
Make
Hall
it
of Fame.
eventually.
Right.
I think Cat might be one of the people that just be grandfathered in at a certain point in time. If he continues at this path with the numbers he's putting up, if he's able to. I mean, I'm just seeing in the future, in the next 10
What
years.
do you mean for doing what? I watched Tim Hardaway get into the Hall of Fame. He ain't never
Go
missed
down
a
as the
competition.
greatest. He can go down as the greatest three-point shooting big.
He got in the Hall of Fame last year. So okay,
Right, and that's
all
the point. That's the
it's-
point, though.
He can go down as the greatest three-point shooting big by the end of his career. On this
Yes.
Spencer, yeah.
Is that why he started that narrative so that he can get in the Hall
First
of
team
Fame?
All-American in college. Remember, it's not the pro basketball Hall of Fame.
It's
It's the
the
basketball
Basketball
Hall
Hall of Fame in general, exactly.
Remember
yeah.
that.
I don't-
Right.
My
But
guess
he
is
didn't win
Pascal
any
Siakam. That's my. I don't think Pascal Siakam is going to make the Hall of Fame, and I think he's probably the best player in the league right now who would. If I had
Is
to
the
guess.
standard starting to go up? No, it is not, buddy. It is
What
not.
about-
Do I think
Chris-
Jalen Brunson will make the Hall of Fame? I don't think Jalen Brunson will make the Hall of Fame.
If he keeps this up, he will. If he do this for two or three more seasons,
Sure.
actually,
So
yeah.
After the college career he had, yeah, the
got
college
two
career
rings
he
in
had,
college.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep, Villanova. Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson for sure going.
But even though
I'll never would say
years in
Jalen
the
Brunson's
league
a shoe in now, just with his college career, and now what he's done in the league.
No.
Again, this is the Basketball Hall of Fame, and I'm not gonna lie,
Man, y'all giving it up easy.
Yo, national player.
I'm talking about, you know, y'all that chick at the bar that's giving it up for two
Big
for
Ox,
2 shots
10%
of
of
tequila.
players make the Hall of Fame in the NBA. That's it. That's 1 out of every 10 guys. What are we doing, man? 180, I think 177 guys are in the Hall of Fame that played in the NBA in the 77-year history of the NBA. 177 guys. That's it. It's not like dudes just walk into the Hall of Fame every year. No,
y'all giving. I think y'all giving it up too easy. Karl Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson. Yeah, come on. Like,
I'm just saying, in terms of, I can see in terms of in the future going forward, if it's still seen as this 3-point analytical type of ordeal, if he keeps this pace up, he's going to go down as one of the greatest, probably as the greatest 3-point shooting center. And if you look at the list of the top 3-point shooters, who of those guys are in the Hall of Fame? If you look at the top 10 the 3-point shooting list, go down the list. Where do you find a non-Hall of Famer? What point do you get to a non-Hall of Famer?
I really wouldn't be able to tell you.
What, at the big man position?
In general, just the list in general. And if he's able to
Jayson
Terry, he's not. Oh, yeah. And where he at?
Number 9.
Who's 10?
Clay.
11. And Clay's going to make it. 11?
Well, number 7, Jamal Crawford.
He's going to get in. He's going to eventually get
Jamal Crawford going to get in. See what I'm saying? Nah, okay, I'm off this conversation. And if that's, and I love Jamal Crawford.
If Jamal Crawford can get in the Hall of Fame, then I'm going to be honest. I don't think there's any player in the league who's good who's not going to make the Hall of Fame.
De'Aaron's in the Hall of Fame. Then.
I think it's going to be a year.
Certainly the easiest to make the Hall of Fame.
I think because it's not the NBA Hall of Fame, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Year of eligibility this year, isn't this is the year he can make it?
I mean, it might be, and I'm telling you that 6-man hype that he gets, he might be able to get it. Again, I'm not saying first ballot Hall of Famer, but eventually he's gonna squeeze in. Like,
yeah, the Basketball Hall of Fame needs to change if guys like Jamal Crawford can get.
Yo, Wes, do you got somebody who's the best player that you think right now that won't make the Hall of Fame?
I was actually thinking it's probably gonna end up being Darius Garland. That's who came to mind and immediately. But there's a scenario where he gets in, I guess. And then outside of that, maybe BI, maybe no. Yeah, those two. Maybe DeRozan probably won't get in, but I don't think he's one of the best.
I think DeRozan is borderline first ballot.
Yeah.
Really?
Because he high on the all-time scoring.
Doesn't he have like 28 points? He has 20,000 points, right?
Yeah, DeRozan gonna get in.
Yeah, DeRozan's
100 points behind Steph right now.
Yeah, DeRozan's gonna get in.
I think
somebody I'm thinking is Chris Middleton.
Ooh.
Do we think Chris gets in?
No,
I don't think so.
Probably not. I mean, maybe if he gets like a 1 or 2 more rings in Milwaukee, like if he retires with 3 championships.
I mean, he at least gonna retire with 2 because they're doubling up this year.
That's crazy though that the Batman of Giannis's only ring is going to be a Hall of Famer.
I mean, if Jamal Crawford gonna get in, I guess Chris Middleton gonna get in. No.
I mean, Chris Middleton put that on his back. You know how big Giannis is.
Is Kyle Lowry a Hall of Famer?
Yeah,
he'll be.
I think so.
He'll be in there. Yeah. How long is it going to take for him to get there though?
I definitely think there's some guys that are getting in like
he gets in before Kevin Johnson.
Kyle Lowry?
Yes.
Damn.
Kyle Lowry's number 11 on time and threes, by the way.
I mean, I'm not mad at that. Kyle Lowry deserves. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
I want to encourage everybody to like the video. If you haven't slapped that like button, go ahead and do that right now. Shout out to all of our new members. Shout out to everybody that subscribed this episode. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, we love you. We welcome you. Thank you. PlayersChoiceMerch.com. Go ahead and visit. Copy something. Get you something real nice. Get your girlfriend something.
Get me something too, by the way, so I can rock it on the show. How about that? Get me something.
But don't go through. Look, if you're going to do it, send it to Chill next day. Don't do a ground order because, you know, sometimes things happen when those delivery truck drivers start going through the mountains and all.
Tricky.
All right, I ain't gonna get into that, but next day. Teddy Hart has a super chat though. He said, "Did I miss y'all talking about the NBA shutting down the GLeague Ignite? Y'all heard about this?"
Yeah.
Is this a big deal?
Yeah.
No, I think GLeague Ignite did its job. It forced colleges to pay their athletes. I think that's what it was. It was. Right. I don't think it was a long-term solution. I don't think they wanted to have a G League team for draft prospects. I think they wanted to force NCAA to pay their players, and now the NCAA does pay their players. So now players can go the traditional route or go overseas and play pro basketball. I don't think G League was the long-term solution. I think it did what it was set out to do, put pressure on NCAA, and it did that. So I think it was a success in that regard. So I'll give it credit for that. I don't think it was ever going to be 20 years of G League Ignite. I don't think that was ever going to happen.
I thought GLeague Ignite was dope for what it's worth. I'm actually sad to see it go.
I definitely think it should have still been a thing. I think the NBA is honestly, I think that the NBA is using the G League Ignite NIL shit that's going on with college as a cop out for why they really shut it down. They really shut it down because they didn't get they didn't get enough eyes on the G League. The whole point of the G League, they can say that it was to combat the players aren't getting paid in college, this, that, and the third. The whole thing was to increase the product of the G League. We're going to get these top-ranked players in high school and try to get some excitement in the G League, but they didn't do their job in terms of marketing and actually pushing the product. And the NBA doesn't care about the G League for real, so they failed it. And I'm not going to lie to you, you need to shut down the whole G League until you really figure out an actual developmental system because you're not taking it serious. And so they put more money into it until players don't have to take charter buses and share motel rooms and aren't getting paid actual professional wages. You're getting paid like teachers. Until that's over, I don't know why you thought the G League Ignite would have worked. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was working as an alternative route for players to go to play professional ball for a year or two before they go in the NBA. It still should be here. I think the whole NIL thing and forcing college to pay players, it's a cop-out. Like, Mars, you're right, and Adam Silver is using that. You're right. It's just the greatest cop-out. It is the greatest convenience to cop out, in my opinion, I've ever seen. And I'm talking about that shit on stream today because that's crazy.
I like the G League. I don't think they should do anything as far as getting rid of the G League. It's just good to develop players. Some organizations, some franchises do take it very serious. For instance, the Toronto Raptors. For those teams, I think it's good. I think it's a great thing to be able to, some people can't go overseas. You know what I mean? Family things, whatever it may be. So I think the G League is dope for that. They could probably, they can give them a couple more dollars, but it's a minor league pro team, so they can't do everything the NBA can do. But I'm a fan of the G League. Also, I'm not mad at the G League Ignite shutting down because I think these kids just take their ass to school. So you know what I mean. So I'm not mad at that.
If the goal was
everybody don't want to go to school. A lot of people need
that was the option, but not if you're trying to go pro.
Relax. Because when all I'm saying is, I know it's not for everybody, but it's a lot of some kids are coming out and they're not ready to. You know what I'm saying? Some kids should go to school, mature, not only as a basketball player, but mature as a person. You know what I'm saying? Mature as a younger. Learn how to become a professional. There's a lot of good coaches out there in college that might not be the best developmental person, but they got people on the staff for that. But there's a lot of good colleges out there that are teaching these young men how to be men. You know what I mean? And the fact that you can get paid now in college is more so a reason like, go to school. You know what I'm saying? Get mature. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I mean, if there's some players that.
Oh boy. You good?
Don't worry about it. It's just a fan. There's some players that mess it up by going a little too early. I think a year or two staying in college will go a long way for some players. You know what I mean? And once you go, you go. You can't take it back. I think it's very less likely to be ready and go to college and like get worse than it is to go to college and get better. So I think it's better for some more people than it is a detriment. You know what I mean? Like it's more likely that you go and get better than the opposite way.
I think that the G League should be used for what it's for. And because Damo basically was echoing Damo's point, the G League should be used what it was for. Before the G League, it was the D League. Before it was the D League, it was the CBA. And it was actually used as that. Like guys were getting called up, guys were getting sent down there. Now what we have in this culture is the G League is a demotion, when in reality, the G League shouldn't be a demotion. The G League is where you go get your skills sharp. The G League is very much like what was going on in pro. I don't understand why they don't use the G League more like they do in pro baseball. I would watch Derek Jeter get sent down to AAA because he just came off an injury. I would watch not Ohtani, but he used to play for the A's. These guys get sent down to AAA and they're down there for 4 or 5 games so they could get their swing sharp, so they could get things back together. When you hear guys go into the G League, it's almost like it's a demotion. Like, you going out to the G League. When in reality, that's what the G League is for. It's a developmental system, and these teams actually have actual teams to develop their players. The Miami Heat, they have a system. They got the crew out in South Dakota. That's their team. The Golden State Warriors have the team in Santa Cruz. That's their actual team. Why don't you have these guys being developed more so you can call them up? Why don't you have these guys being developed more so you can have James Wiseman go down to the developmental league and stay down there for 2 seasons and get sharp? Why is that a problem? Why does he have to come right back up after 2 games when he's clearly not ready? I don't think that they use the G League nearly as much as they should in terms of a developmental state, which is what it's really there for.
The G League Ignite, the G League Ignite team this year was 2-28.
Garbage.
For real?
Garbage.
Oh, they've been garbage every every year.
They've never been this bad. I look back through their record.
This is easily their worst year. Yeah,
that's why they get packed up.
2-28 is crazy. Last year they were 11-21. That was the Scoot year. The year before, with guys like Dyson Daniels and Jaden Hardy and first year Scoot, they were 7-7 for whatever reason. And then the first year, the Jalen Green year, they were 8-7.
So essentially, they're bad.
2-28 is criminal.
Not popular, and colleges can get paid now. So there's no point. It didn't boost the people watching the G League. It wasn't turning players into successful players. They couldn't even beat G League guys. So it was hurting more than it was helping, and it was costing the NBA money to keep the team up. So why would they keep it? I mean, it was a cool concept. The thought of it was great, but it didn't really do anything.
I don't think they did a good job of developing people either. But
how can we say that? I was about to ask Wes that question. How are we going to say it wasn't preparing guys to play pro ball just because they weren't winning in the G League? I mean, that could just be the concept of the style of play they were playing specifically against other teams. That's fine. But how do we know that they're not actually developing guys and turning guys into solid pros? But it's too small of a sample size to say just that.
Because we could say the same thing also. I'm sorry to interrupt you, because we could say the same thing also, Damo, because not everybody that comes into the draft is on a team that was in the Final Four the year before. Not everybody that comes into the draft was on a team that was in the national championship. There's plenty of guys who come into the league who their team was at the bottom of whatever league that they played in. So
my opinion on G League is less on the how much they won thing. It's more the players I've seen go into the G League, especially the ones I knew about. When they left the G League, they were pretty much the same people they were.
That's not good, Mar.
My
not good.
Like Jalen Green didn't develop how he should have in the G League, and then obviously Steven Silas. But for me, Jalen Green in high school could do the same things he could do in the G League. There wasn't much structure in the G League. Defensively, you'd think in a pro environment there'd be accountability. There wasn't much accountability on that team. In terms of understanding concepts and rotations, nothing was being learned. Jonathan Kuminga still didn't understand the game. Jalen Green was still just playing as fast-paced as he wanted to. There wasn't much to me to point to that was like, oh, you've been in a pro environment for a year. That didn't resonate with me. And then I watched Jaden Hardy when he was in the G League. He was just allowed to do whatever he wanted when I watched him down there. He was just taking as many bad shots as he wanted. He didn't have to play any defense, didn't have to guard anyone. He was out there with guys like Dyson Daniels, and he didn't improve as a shooter, but I'm not going to blame that on him. But Jaden Hardy could do, like, you go watch Jaden Hardy in the G League in 22. He was just doing whatever he wanted, like it was high school. He was just shooting whatever he wanted, making terrible decisions, not being yanked from games for taking bad shots. Anything you'd expect of a pro environment, if a player is making terrible mistakes, you either work with them or you hold them accountable and take them out the game. You teach that. I wasn't seeing those things. So that's where I'm like.
Can I just ask?
Yes.
What improvements did Cade Cunningham make the 1 year he was in college? What improvement in his game from high school to the pros that was attributed to his development in college that 1 year?
I don't think Oklahoma State was good for Cade either. I don't think Cade really developed in college, to be honest.
What was the improvement Trae Young made at Oklahoma?
I didn't watch
that
Trae
1 year.
But I will say Scotty Barnes is someone who I do think in Florida State improved. I think he was a much better defensive player. I think he got held a lot more accountable. I think his playmaking developed, maybe because he had the ball more in terms of at Montverde was kind of not having the ball as much. But I think Scotty Barnes is someone who benefited from college. I think Jalen Suggs benefited from college. I think it's player dependent. But in my opinion, I'm not on the side of every player should go college. I don't think that's the
schooling for everybody.
I think the G League hasn't been a very valuable.
The point I was trying to make is, for the most part, one and doneing, no matter what system you go to, isn't going to be that helpful to your development unless you go to the right situation. But a lot of guys don't go to the right situation, and that was going to be my point. I think it's and that's why I say it's a small sample size with the G League Ignite. I think it's real unfair to say, oh, well, this guy and this guy and this guy, they went to the G League for a year, but they didn't develop how they should have developed. Okay, other guys take these traditional routes or other routes, and they don't develop in that year. It's not common or it's not easy for guys to develop in 1 year unless you go to the right system. I can see a guy going to Duke for a year, especially when Coach K was there, and he develops his mind, he develops this, that, and the third. I can see guys going to Kentucky for a year or going to prolific systems or going somewhere with a historic coach for a year, and that development will help. But a lot of these guys, when you look, they don't go to the right systems for them. A lot of guys end up going to these programs where they can play their game. Kay went to a program where he prioritized his game versus his development. Trae Young went to where he prioritized his game versus his development. Colin Sexton is another guy that went to a school where he prioritized his game over his development to try to make it to the NBA.
Wait.
Now, my point.
A lot of this time from at that age, 18, 19, 20, you're not gonna see what you like. You can't just look at them and say, oh, from this grade, from 12th grade to the second year in the NBA. It's not so much about, or even before they get to the NBA, it's not even so much about what you're learning skill set wise, because it's about that gap year. You have to get stronger. You got to get faster. You're not going to see all the stuff that you're learning there. You know, the development takes a minute because your body's just not ready. Unless you're just a knockdown shooter. If you're just shooting from deep, you're not going to see it because mostly to me, because of strength, being stronger, being faster. And on top of that, like, Trae Young and Colin Sexton, they went to good programs.
Yeah,
those are good programs, good coaches.
Oklahoma was a good school.
Damo, Trae Young would have did that anywhere Trae Young went, he would have looked like that.
No,
anywhere Cade Cunningham went, he would have looked like that.
No, he is not. If Trae Young is playing at
Mississippi the whole game, that's not very common.
If Trae Young is at Mississippi State, he's not leading the country in scoring.
I thought you ain't watched Trae Young.
He's not
even that. If Trae Young goes Trae Young can go to a school where there's more guards around. If he goes to Kentucky, he's not going to like the same Trae Young.
If he goes to Kentucky, Trae Young gets busy.
He's not going to play.
Look, he's not going to have the ball. Look,
but these were good programs, Damo.
Rob Dillingham comes off the bench.
Stop. And he gets busy. It's not enough listening going on right now. Please just listen to what I'm saying. If he goes to that program, he's not going to have the ball as much. He's not going to be able to play his style of basketball. You're going to have to buy into the Kentucky culture. I understand Avery Johnson is a good coach. You can say Alabama was a good program, but at the end of the day, Colin Sexton was allowed to go to a school where eventually he had to play 4 3-on-5 and was allowed to have the ball 24/7 and play how Colin Sexton wanted versus the right way or the Alabama way or the whatever way. There are certain programs you go to where you have to defer your play style to play with how the team wants to play, other guys around you. That's what I'm saying.
Can you name me the programs? Because college is not the same as it used to be.
I named you three programs where guys.
Duke's not the case like that anymore. Kentucky's not the case either.
Yes, it is. Kentucky
has won one game in the last 4 NCAA tournaments. No, they are not.
Yeah, but that's
what
Calipari's a fraud. I mean,
first of all, no one is talking about them competing and winning national championships. I don't know what that point of they only won one natty.
Damo's point is guys being conducive to the system and being able to play.
There's a certain way you play.
So a team like Oklahoma, they're going to put the ball in Trae Young's hands. And they're going to put the ball in Trae Young's hands and allow him to rock. If he plays at the University of Kentucky, number one, he's not going to play 35 minutes a game. That's not going to happen with Trae Young. Number two, he's not going to have the ball the entire time that he's on the floor because they got different guys. He might be productive, but he's not leading the country in scoring. He's not leading the country in assists. That's not happening. If he plays at Mississippi State or if he plays at Boston College, that may not be conducive to his game. So he has to play somewhere.
If
Drink more water is cooking. I don't know if you're
Mississippi
looking at the
State,
chat.
he does the same thing.
I don't know if you're looking at chat. Drink more water is cooking. Arizona, Gonzaga, Villanova, Virginia. Those are other programs where, again, you're not going to just be able to show up as a freshman and be able to be ball dominant, take as many shots as you want, and control the tempo.
Arizona, and he used Arizona for that. Are you serious?
Arizona has a sense of a culture and a style of play that they have.
Dumbo, my thing is, I understand what you're saying, and I do get that it's certain programs with systems and coaches run certain things. And I will say, like, if you do go play with Kentucky, Calipari might bring you off the bench, or you might not, because you're playing with other 5-stars too. So you might not play 35 minutes a game. But what I'm trying to say is the guys that you named, it was Trae Young, it was Colin Sexton, and who was the other one?
Cade Cunningham.
Cade Cunningham. Those guys were the top of the top of the top. They were going to dominate either way it goes. Any coach is going to bend their system for a talent that good.
No,
any coach.
The reason they're playing
Gonzaga got Chet, and they did not bend their system.
That's what I'm saying. Like Ron, I really feel like you're not listening to what I'm saying.
I'm hearing what you're saying. But Chet fit that system also as well.
The reason that Trae Young and Cade Cunningham are playing so much, or were playing so much in college and had the ball so much in college, is because they're significantly better than everyone else on that roster. The reason he wouldn't do that at Kentucky is because they were all brought in as 5-stars. And so
that's my point.
I understand. I'm understanding your point, but that's not a very good argument for college over the G League in general, because the G League Ignite was never a place for people to go build a culture of any type of productive basketball. Like Mars said, they were out there freestyling, playing no defense, and there wasn't even structure there. And so when you compare that to college in general, all I'm saying is you have the option to, if you want to go play on a stacked Kentucky, or if you want to go be the number one guy at Oklahoma or Mississippi or wherever else, you have the choice. Whereas if you're deciding to forego that to go to the G League Ignite, you're going to a dumpster fire.
It is not. One, I am not comparing it to college as a whole. My point is, and what I attacked were you guys talking about the development of the players in 1 year. So I narrowed it down to people that one and done at programs where they chose to prioritize their play style versus the system of the college. That is literally what I was saying. But y'all started, now I'm being told because of how great.
Keep going, Damo. Keep going, Damo.
I just said you were wrong about Colin and Trae. That's it. That's all.
Keep going, Damo.
I agree with you for the most part. I just still feel like you're wrong about Colin, specifically about Colin Sexton and Trae Young. I feel like they went to different styles of the program, but I agree with your point as a whole. I just didn't agree with a couple of the examples you used. I just wanted to clear that up. Go ahead.
Styles Black in the chat talking about Ron, you're wrong. As a Kentucky fan, I could tell you Calipari's not going to let Trae play the way he played. All right, now I'm going to just run down the list of players he let play like that. De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Shea wasn't even supposed to be that. Did you guys not watch De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk? Are you being serious?
Turn these guys loose.
You being serious? Did you guys
Keep going. I watched a lot of Kentucky basketball. He most certainly let De'Aaron. He most certainly let De'Aaron and Malik go crazy, bro.
You guys are sitting here trying to tell me he didn't let Malik Monk and Trae and De'Aaron Fox go bonkers?
Keep naming names.
Okay. Tyler Hero, when he was there, could do damn near just about whatever he wanted to do.
Tyler Hero for sure. Tyler Hero was allowed.
Tyrese Maxey, when he was there, could do whatever he wanted to do. We can even go back to Derrick Rose, John Wall. Are you guys literally sitting here trying to tell me that you can't go to Calipari's offense and run the show?
Memphis with Derrick Rose.
I know, but it's still John Calipari though.
I was talking to Mars.
I thought you was from Kentucky, and then you said Derrick Rose. Okay. Coach,
I'm just saying, like, Calipari has a culture of letting one and done players come in and do their thing. Eric Bledsoe, for instance, as well. That was a dude he let come in and go crazy. I don't, and so this is what I'm trying to keep naming names. And that's probably about it. Everybody else.
Now I'm gonna say you're wrong. Okay, cool. The guys you named, they were allowed to play their role of being a shooter, being a scorer. That was their role in the team, but they still play within a system. It was not just turn John Wall loose. No, you had multiple guys that were all first rounders on that team, and John Wall, who could tell you himself, he will go and tell you about having to sacrifice and defer playing with Kentucky that freshman year with DeMarcus Cousins, with those other guys.
I'm not saying that's not the case.
You can't in one breath say he turned him loose, but in the same breath saying, "Oh, but yeah, he did sacrifice and have to defer his game." That doesn't.
No, this is.
They had to play in the system. They had to play in the system, but everybody plays in the system. That's
no, they don't. Everybody doesn't
play. Wait. I'm not talking about GLeague Ignite. I'm talking about in college. That was specifically. I know it's a conversation, Mars. I'm not talking about GLeague Ignite. We're talking about college.
My bad.
So what I'm saying is, you're telling me that Trae Young didn't, like, Oklahoma didn't have a system. I want to go back to Calipari even further, because Tyreke Evans was allowed to do whatever he wanted to do in the system, just like all these other guys we're talking about. Y'all acting like I'm lying when I'm anybody that was watching could clearly see that they had a system just like every other team, but they got a green light.
The original logic, Ox, is the fact that they were in a system. Calipari wasn't just giving these dudes the ball and going, I'm going to get out the way.
And neither did Avery Johnson to Colin Sexton.
Chill. I'm not saying that they're not in a system.
Alabama was not very good. Alabama was not very good. He turned him loose.
Are y'all just lying?
What kind of
I'm cool off this conversation because y'all
chill. So explain this to me. So if I'm lying, explain to me what they were doing at the University of Alabama with Colin Sexton. With not only Colin Sexton, with the guards that they had, what kind of system did they have? With Avery Johnson, by the way, as a lead guard. How was he teaching Colin Sexton how to be a lead guard on the next level? What was he doing?
So this is what I'm saying. You especially now, and this is even further into my point where I wasn't even trying to go, because I feel like I go here too often. We're talking about what these kids are learning in their development when we're never in practice with these kids. We have no idea what they're learning. That was my point when I said, for the most part, at that level, what's happening is they're getting stronger and faster. They're getting stronger and faster. Getting all that is what we know is happening. Other than that, on the court, we have none of y'all can watch these college games for one and done season and tell me that's what he's teaching them, this and that. We don't know. You know what I mean? We don't know what's going on in practice, especially at the college level. Especially at the college level.
He's a one and done guy. What is he teaching him? He's teaching him how to be a pro. That's what he's teaching him.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I said that earlier. That's what you go to college for anyway, especially. And I said this to Damo specifically because I'm like, even if you're ready for the NBA, when you go to college, there's these college coaches that are teaching you how to be a young man, how to be a professional, how to carry yourself, and how to be an adult. Other than that, you got the game already. So now what you're doing here is getting stronger, getting faster, and learning how to be a professional. I said that damn near 35, 45 minutes ago. That's my main point. Now on the court, if you don't got it, you just don't got it. I don't know what to tell you about that. But to tell me that Avery Johnson didn't teach Colin Sexton anything, that's ridiculous. And I can't believe y'all are saying it.
I didn't say that. What I said was he turned him loose. That's what I said. And I said that at the University of Alabama, that basketball program, when he was there for that 1 year, it was not all that. Not only was it not all of that, he was teaching him to be a pro. That's what he was teaching him. And he gave him the basketball and he turned him loose. It wasn't like it was a structured system like at the University of Kentucky, like Duke, like at UConn, places like that. He wasn't doing that.
There was definitely structure, but it doesn't have. It's a structured program. I 100% believe that Coach Johnson had a structured program. He had all that they had. Only thing they didn't have is the history, the time there. You know what I mean? The culture. You can't build a culture in 1 year, of course. No, you can't do that. But I'm saying to say that he was at Alabama with everything they got at these other places, with the coach that was in the NBA for as long as Avery Johnson was as a player, as a coach.
For 6 months, that's it. For 6 months.
And that's what I'm saying. That's all you're gonna get anyway. These kids, especially these one and done kids, they're not showing up early, going to summer school like a kid that might redshirt. They're showing school starts the beginning of August. They're showing up the beginning of middle of July. they're there, and as soon as that March Madness tournament is over, they're off campus. That's 6 months too. So what does it matter? What does it matter? If I'd rather, as a matter of fact, when I think about it that way, I'd rather go play for Avery Johnson, and I'd rather go than go play for Mike Krzyzewski if I'm one and done. Avery Johnson gonna teach me about what it's like to be in the NBA. He gonna tell me about he gonna teach me tricks on how to get past faster point guards. He's gonna teach me tricks on when I get switched on the big. How do I guard him on the pick and roll? How do I get up under him? How do I attack the hips, the hip, my shoulder, put my shoulder on his hip when I'm coming off that high pick and roll? I'd rather go play for Avery Johnson. Now that I think on it, I'm gonna be there for 6 months anyway.
What did Avery Johnson challenge him to do that he wasn't previously doing?
Just like y'all, I didn't watch every all these kids play every game in high school. But what I'm saying is he's teaching them pro shit, Damo. That's
no one questioned that, Ox. This is my pro. I'm saying nobody's listening. No one questioned him teaching him to be a pro. My point was Colin chose somewhere where he was allowed to play his game versus having to defer to a system and do something different, like you would have to do at a Duke, Kentucky, and other prestigious systems and programs. That has been my point since I started this tirade. But for whatever reason, everyone is removing that point and adding all this other stuff that I'm not even saying nor agreeing or disagreeing with. Colin, tell me right now what Colin had to change. Tell me what Colin had to change about his game to play Alabama. Tell me what did Colin have to change about his game to play Oklahoma.
Can you tell me any of that?
Right quick, Ox.
It was nothing. That's my point. It was nothing. When you look at Kentucky guards, they have to change something.
You don't know that, Damo.
Yes, you do.
No, yes, you don't, nigga. You can't tell me that you know that he went there and he didn't have to change nothing. You don't know what this count. You didn't watch this boy play every game.
Trae Young was a ball dominant.
It's okay.
Playmaker who was able to score. He went to college and was a ball dominant point guard who was able to play make and score. Cade Cunningham was a 6'6" guard with the ability to score. He went to college and played like a 6'6" guard with the ability to score. Colin Sexton was an undersized guard with athleticism and the ability to score. He went to Alabama and played like an undersized guard with athleticism and the ability to score. Other guys go to other programs like Kentucky and have to change certain things they do to be raised. To be he's coming off the bench. He has to be more of a playmaker than he normally is. He is seen as a scorer. Any big man that goes to Kentucky is not allowed to show anything outside of rim run, set screens, get boards, post up. Every freaking center throughout the 2010s. And he was yelled at for it. He will tell you that. Every center. Karl-Anthony Towns literally showed everybody that he was able to shoot a three ball and he was not doing it in college. Willie Cauley-Stein looked better than Cat in college because Calipari limited what he could do. Bam Adebayo, the same year playing with De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, was limited to a certain role.
You're telling me Bam had to change something? Was Bam that before? Was Bam that when he got there?
Bam was a center who could push the ball. Okay, you're gonna ask me a question, talk over me. Cool.
Go ahead, Damo. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Bam was a center who could push the floor, push the tempo, put the ball on the ground, and have a lot of guard-like skills. He was not allowed to do that in Kentucky. He wasn't. Calipari doesn't let his bigs do that.
So, Damo, why is this, Damo? Why is it?
Because
so look, let me tell. No, wait. That was rhetorical. My bad. That was rhetorical. So I'm going to tell you why that is. Because if I am a big out there with all these other 5-star guards, just like Wes was trying to say earlier, I don't got no business doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's just different in college. In college, the level of play from this team to that plan, the level of talent from this team to that team is so vast in college that if I'm here, I want to play basketball. I want to get off the bench. I'm gonna go here so I can play. These guys, I got 6 other 5-star guys on my team. I'm a big man. I don't have no business being out here shooting all those threes, getting his way. Why am I dribbling the ball up the court when I got a 5-star point guard? Don't do that. That's bad basketball. So Big Ox,
if that's true, then if I got a big man And why am I dribbling the basketball up the floor if I got a 5-star athlete? Then why am I cracking long balls when I got a big man on the box? That means I have to change my game. That means I got to start throwing the ball.
If my big man on the box, if my big man on the box isn't another guy that I know I can dump it down to get it to, I'm gonna shoot a tougher shot. If I know that if I dump it down to him, it's not gonna be automatic like it would if I was playing over there with John Calipari and them. Then I'm gonna naturally do a couple things that out. Other than that, I'm gonna take the ball. I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna pull up.
Did Tyrese Maxey play with a guy like Cat in high school? Did he play with somebody like that? I don't think he did.
I don't know.
Yo, Damo, I get your point. I actually just disagree. Only thing I disagree with, and I do agree that there is systems, there's coaches, they have philosophies and styles and stuff like that. I just believe that I disagree. A talent of Trae Young's caliber, a talent of even Colin Sexton's caliber, and who was the third guy that you mentioned? In any of those guys, Cade Cunningham, any of those guys would have went somewhere and cooked. That's the point I'm trying to make. It might not have looked the way it looked in Oklahoma. He might not have led the nation in scoring and assists. It might not have looked like that. But if you get a talented player like that, you're gonna switch. You're gonna tinker your system to cater that player, and you're gonna let that player.
You're not going to show up with that many. You're not going to show up to a school, whether it's the University of Kentucky or Duke or Stanford. It doesn't make a difference where you are. You're not going to show up to a school with that many 5-star guys and do exactly what you did before. You're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to do something
Dillingham
different.
does that. He does that. And Calipari came out and said it. He said, it's literally a quote of Calipari saying, I let Rob be Rob because Rob is who he is. He basically said, I'm not going to take away his greatness. Now, in defense, he also did say.
Does he do that with everybody, though? Does he do that with all the 5-star guys?
No, but there are levels to that, though. That's what he's saying. Trae Young and Cade are just that much better, specifically than the players that were on that team. But if they went to Kentucky, they would have been that much better than those guys, too. They're that good. They're the 5-star.
Fair enough.
All right, y'all. Teddy Hart got a super chat. He said, why isn't Stephon Marbury in the Hall of Fame if international also counts?
Why? That's a good question. Why isn't he in the Hall of Fame? Because the Euros, the Euros build their careers over in Europe, and then they come over here and they have subpar careers, or let's just say good careers, and then they end up in the Hall of Fame. So why isn't that? Why isn't
maybe the level of play in the Euro League is better than China?
How much do they value China? Like if he was in the Euro League, maybe, but how much do they care about what you do in China?
On top of that, he doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame for what he did to KG.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Big Ox is not off that.
LaFlame said Kendrick dissed Drake. Rap is back.
Rap is always like last I checked. Didn't Drake and Meek Mills have an issue? So all of a sudden, like we're gonna forget that. Didn't they have an issue? Wasn't that going on? That was absolutely going on. We've had rap beefs.
It's Mr. GQ to you said, yo, next time Gifted come up, can y'all tell him to turn the gain down on his mic? His volume be so loud I could hear his thoughts and smell his breath. I'll relay the message, GQ. I got you. Drink More Water said, here's an interesting fact. The Nets haven't drafted in the lottery since drafting Derek Favors in 2010. They don't own their own first pick until 2028.
It started with Danny Ainge basically backing up the Brinks truck and robbing them of all 8 picks. That's when it started.
They tried to build a super team with a bunch of old guys once, and then it didn't work, and then they did it again, and then it didn't work.
The same way, by the way.
The KD James Harden one was unfortunate. That one was on the KD.
Unfortunate or not, it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work, but I'm not gonna. I can't demonize them for that one because that one made sense. The KG one didn't make sense. KG was
trying to do the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity.
They didn't try it over and over. They tried it twice.
Yeah, but why?
Which is more than
because KD, James Harden, and Kyrie made sense.
Yeah, well,
it just didn't work.
They're all on different teams.
It made sense. Yeah, it made sense. It just didn't work. The KG, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry thing.
That actually, no, that one's definitely worse. That made no sense. Even
that one made no sense. We're not gonna act like when KD, James Harden, and Kyrie got together, we wasn't predicting championship.
You're right.
We're not
That
going to
was
have
going
revisionist
on,
history. Yeah, we're not going to have
That was going
revisionist
on.
history. We're not going to
that
act like
was
we
going
all just thought it wasn't going to work. Like everyone thought it was going to work.
Yes.
No,
Then we
no,
saw
we
them
didn't.
Okay, 95% of people thought it was going to work. Then we saw them in the playoffs against Boston destroy them. We thought it was going to work. Then we saw them destroying the Bucks and Kyrie and James Harden and now down, and it didn't work. 95% of people were convinced that was going to work. And then when we saw them play, it was working. They just got hurt at bad times. That's not the same as the first time.
Walker sent through a super chat and said, "You out of your damn mind if you think the NBA was going to let Wemby go to the Wizards. Keep hope alive."
That's facts. That's facts. I said 6 months before the draft lottery he was going to the Spurs. Like
all I said was on the day of the lottery, by the time that it played out, at one point the Wizards had an above 30% chance to get Wembanyama. I can double back and check specifically.
But you know, like you could have had a 99% chance that 1%
you knew it wasn't happening.
Like once again, 80% of people knew Wemby was going to the Spurs. Not because we had insight. You just knew the NBA wasn't going to let the best prospect they've had in maybe 20 years go to a bad run organization. We knew he was going to go to the Spurs. It just made sense. That's why I was hoping for a number 2 pick.
If the final number selected was 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 13, the Wizards would get the chance at Wemby. In the brief moment before the final ball was selected, Washington had a 54.5% chance at Victor Wembanyama. And it was never, ever going to be us.
Nope.
And for me to be so delusional was ridiculous.
Yo,
you guys probably would have drafted Scoot number 1.
Oh my God. See, this is that Wemby is the layup pick I was referring to earlier. If we didn't take Wemby, I promise
you guys
and
are
I
like
cannot
injury
stress
concerns.
this enough.
Ooh, I'm not sure.
I would run so fast to a different team, and it would be sad. But it would have that would be worse than us getting what happened.
Passing on Wemby is an immediate fireable offense.
Nasty word.
Immediately. You're fired right there at the draft. Goodbye. You're gone. You are fired.
Crazy.
Isaac Ford with the super chat said, "This panel got to stop disrespecting Orlando. Pelicans got cooked last night, even before the unfortunate BI injury."
We're not disrespecting Orlando. I know I was not disrespecting Orlando. No.
Ron, we gonna get West top 10?
West, you ready?
For Isaac, man.
Yeah, I got. Okay.
I'm from the top. Are you gonna go from the top
10 to
to the
1?
bottom?
10 to 1. Yes, nice. Suspense. Nice.
Okay. And then I will take questions afterwards. We've got Bill Russell at 10, Wilt Chamberlain at 9, Curry at 8, Kobe at 7, Shaq at 6, Magic at 5, Tim Duncan at 4, Kareem at 3, Michael Jordan at 2, and LeBron James at 1.
Hakeem and Larry Bird are the 2 ones that missed out. Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
The 2 like regular top 10 guys. Terrible list.
Garbage. Trash.
I don't hate it, bro. I don't hate that list. I ain't mad at that.
Listen, I have a reason
way
for
Curry is.
everyone at every.
Why is Curry a top 10 player?
Yeah, I got it. This is the one I got to hear.
4 championships. That most recent ring really did it for me. And then also, you think about what he's done for the game of basketball. He is the main reason that every NBA team has ramped up their 3-point shooting volume. I think just from a skill set aspect, what he can do with the ball in his hands, both dribbling and shooting. And he's been an icon. I mean, he's Steph Curry. Steph Curry is the only player when you're shooting into a trash can. It used to be Kobe. Now all the kids are saying Curry.
Nobody's saying Curry, bro. What are you
are the kids actually saying Curry now? We got to that point.
From the 2 years since COVID, I've worked several children's basketball camps over summers, and all of them, I swear, they're wearing Currys. They're saying Curry. They're trying to emulate Stephen Curry, and it's insane.
Cat. That's cat.
I swear.
Yeah, but you're like 4 generations removed from the current generation of kids.
That's not true. I'm with kids all the time.
He said he's the kids all the time too. So
he said he's worked 2 camps. Mars, I do at least a camp a month.
2 years.
Okay, my bad, bro. My bad.
So how do I know to believe? Maybe some kids are raised with the same code and others.
Wait, I mean, it's not hard to believe, but I just
as far as
don't
I'm
believe
concerned, it's always Kobe. As far as I'm concerned.
But, yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, it's Kobe too. But that's because I'm
nobody
22, about to be 23.
I never heard someone say Curry, but I mean, hey, I guess.
Yo, that's
Also,
definitely going on. The way that
when
boy run around
start,
shooting,
the kids are
they
now
doing
their
that.
first shot they're learning is they're trying to shoot threes. No, every kid you see at a court is immediately running as far away as they can from the 3-point line and heaving it, and that's because.
So why you got
Kareem
Kareem number 3? No kids going to the gym doing hook shots.
No, I think there are certain players on my list. I think it would be ridiculous for me not to honor the past generations, at least in some regard. And unfortunately, Larry Bird got left off my list. And I left off one other person. Hakeem. Yeah. But I think about what they did for the game of basketball. I think that it's hard to only have 10, but that's just how my list ended up shaking out.
Somebody getting
How is Wilt over Hakeem?
Wilt is the only player that they have to question how good he was. They're questioning if he dropped 100 or not. And some of his stat lines are some of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. And from the small amount of Wilt tape I did watch, he was an entire generation ahead of everyone he was playing against.
So why is he only number 9?
I think that because he was a higher generation than everyone he was playing against, I don't think he would have been as successful in later generations. And you could say the same, and that's the same way I feel about Bill Russell, why he's not higher. I don't think he would have been as successful, still successful, but not as successful as he was.
So to win,
Wilt Chamberlain was 60 years old defending Kareem. He wasn't actually 60, but like you get my point.
Yeah,
he was old man defending Kareem. And
he
Kareem
was.
Played. You got Kareem number 3.
Yeah, and that's because he held a record that for 40 years. Like people thought that record was. I thought that LeBron would break it about 5 years ago. I did the math, and he needed like 25 for however many years, and he did it. But that record was talked about as if like it was like holy, it was untouchable, and also Kareem had an unstoppable move. No one could stop that hook
except Wilt Chamberlain when he was stopping that move, and Bill Walton. Except those two, and Artis Gilmore. But other than those 3, yeah, I agree. And Nate Thurmond. So those 4, yeah. Other than those 4. Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. I got a few more super chats. Dev sent through a super chat and said, "Did you see that Luka to Kyrie lob last night? Also, they the 6th seed right now. Is they gonna be the 5th?
They can be. If I think New Orleans are gonna fall off a little bit without BI, and they're 1.5 games back of New Orleans. I think
2 games.
Okay, yeah. So I think they can catch up.
No, it's 1.5 miles. I'm sorry, 6.5 and 8. You're correct. It's 1.5.
Yeah, I think they can catch New Orleans. But the Clippers haven't been moving me recently. I think the Clippers, depending on their strength of schedule, I haven't looked at it. But if their strength of schedule is questionable, the Clippers can fall to maybe like
the play-in. That would not surprise me if the Clippers fell into the play-in tournament. That would not surprise me at all.
Looking at their schedule, okay, I don't think they're gonna fall. They got Portland, the Sixers, the Pacers, the Sixers, Magic, Hornets, Kings. Okay, yeah, the Clippers are all right, but I think Dallas can catch one of them, whether that's the Clippers or the Pelicans. I think they can catch one of them.
And let's stop acting like Kyrie Irving. Y'all dudes talk about him finishing at the rim. Y'all dudes talk about him getting to the rim. Kyrie Irving is a superb athlete. He'll go upstairs and get it. Throw it at the rim. He'll go up and get it. So.
Yeah, his athleticism slept on, for sure.
LaFlame said, Rob Mittingham narratives have to stop. 10 points on 22% shooting is crazy.
Bad games happen all the time.
All the time.
Yeah,
Cody Williams had an injury and then looked trash for like 6 straight games. I mean, it is what it is. Bad games happen all the time.
Andra15789 said, bro would be shocked if Dallas beat Minnesota. Bro, Luka ain't scared of Rudy Gobert or Ant or Chet freaking Holmgren. LOL.
Who said anything about being scared? In fact, most people who fight you, they'd rather kick your ass if you ain't scared of them. So what, you being scared? That doesn't mean that I ain't gonna whoop your ass if you ain't scared of me.
Scared of getting your ass whooped to get
what the hell I got to do with anything? The fact that you ain't scared. In fact, I prefer that you wasn't scared.
SMNRNDM said, chill, I love you. But you got to stop dying on this JT Hill. JT is decent, in my humble opinion, barely top 15.
That's
remember who this is. Remember this is
barely top 15.
That's LeBron. Yeah, that's LeBron. LeBron not rocking with JT.
Yeah, remember who we're talking about now. So
barely top 15 is a stretch, but
barely top 15 is nasty.
Jamaica's Ross Clot Choice said, Dub D9, D James B, Dub Chat, but Chill need to stop this Dunkin' Donut glaze. Make sure you zip his pants up too.
You can't read ahead, Ron. You can't see what's coming after this during the sentence.
I didn't know he was gonna be that nasty.
Oh my God.
Apologies, Chill. Almighty Lambo said LeBron may be an old fossil, but y'all really underestimate how little fuel fans and some media members need to push anti-LeBron agendas.
That's my point.
Right.
That's my point. LeBron misses the play, and they're gonna use it to say why he's not the GOAT. Like, it's LeBron James. They used his podcasts as reasonings why he's not the GOAT. Like, they don't need anything.
I'm already on record, yo.
He could dance with his family.
If we get enough people together, we could charge him with the Kennedy assassination. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, they don't need anything to say something about LeBron. If he misses the playoffs, they're gonna say something about LeBron. So
I'm sure of it.
Yo, I seen somebody, some weirdo. What was he saying? That LeBron can't be the GOAT because, or who has that big of an ego that they feel like they have to let everybody know how much they know about basketball. Oh, it was crazy, but it was just like, I mean, they're really upset that Bron started a podcast, which I think is good. I think it's good for the sports world. I think it's good to get the insight. People want to hear from who most people think is the GOAT. Now, most people now think Bron is the GOAT. People want to hear him talk. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shit. People, I wish Jordan would have had a podcast back in 2006. I would have watched that every day.
A Jordan podcast would be so toxic. He would talk so much shit.
I still would have watched it.
Oh my God, it'd be a must-see TV.
Every night after basketball.
Jordan had a podcast and then LeBron came out with one, they'd say he's just trying to be Jordan. Like,
yo, Prince Liger sent through a super chat. He said, "Hey Damo, did you hear that Kendrick verse? It's as if Kobe, Bron, and MJ were in the same era. Ron, read this while Damo here. Well, Damo is there, or else, nigga."
I'm gonna listen to the verse on stream today. Listen to a lot of new music that dropped, but I heard about it. Everybody know how I feel about my guy Cole, man, Carolina legend. But and a lot of people know how I feel about Kendrick. And they go overrated. So this better be. If this isn't better than the Control verse, he's cooked. Not gonna lie.
It's gonna
right now,
top that Control
right
verse
now.
though.
This the thing though. He came out both of them, but if you know how Drake gonna play it though. Drake gonna play it like, oh, I don't got time. He gonna let J. Cole take care of it. He better.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right now.
No. I ain't gonna lie to you, Alex. This is not Drake is not on the same time he's been on like the past 5 years. Drake is not on. I'm gonna let that shit slide timing. There's gonna be one or two things going on. Drake is either gonna directly respond in an upcoming song, feature, whatever. He's really gonna try, and I don't know how good it's gonna be. I'm not gonna say he's gonna dog him. I'm not gonna say he's gonna get washed, but he's gonna try to go back at him. Or Drake gonna do some petty shit. Drake's gonna find some LA artist that's not TDE that Kendrick that's gonna put. He's gonna find some LA artist that's not TDE, give him a number one song, and have him over all the TDE LA artists, and it's gonna be crazy.
Facts. The Drizzlers are in shambles right now. The Drizzlers are in shambles.
The Drizzlers is in shambles.
Legend of Wingstop said, it's the picture for me, y'all. But it's a question for y'all. Favorite basketball sneaker of all time?
When Jordan stepped on the floor with that white uniform on in 91 with them black sixes, I thought I was looking at a superhero for real. I for real thought that. I was like, what are those?
The best basketball sneakers, those
Converse.
Those Adidas Pro Models.
Take it back. Converse, buddy.
That's really not a bad choice, though.
Yes, it is, Ron.
Hey, because Converse had the game in the chokehold for a minute, for a whole era.
Bro, I got to bounce.
Yeah,
I got to bounce, brother. See y'all dudes later.
The originator. I go with the prototype, baby.
You see what you did, Damo? You said Converse, so you pack chill up.
It's those Adidas Pro Models, though, for sure.
All right, y'all. I got just a couple more super chats. Y'all bear with me. Void Century said Warriors had a winning culture, and when everyone was injured, decided to shut everyone down and tank to get a high pick. Why is that a problem for Memphis to do it?
I think when you have veteran presence on the team is different to what Memphis have, and also I think Memphis. I don't see the problem with losing but trying to be competitive while you do so. I guess that's like they're still losing the games. They're the 6th worst team in the league, something like that. Like they're not good. They're just trying to compete and build good habits. You have young. Maybe this is from the bias part of me. I watched a team that was actively trying to lose games, and we built nothing but bad habits for 2 years. I don't think Memphis want to do that. You can lose and still try and build good habits. I think that's what Memphis is doing. Because Houston tried to lose, and it was terrible, and we felt the cost of that early this season.
I would just say the difference is that Houston literally had no culture, no lifeline, no sight, or anything in mind. The Grizzlies is more in a Warriors case scenario where you literally are coming off 2 years where you establish a culture, establish winning, you are trending in the right direction, and you get offset by just crazy injuries and bad circumstances. So you try to pivot, and in a league where there are a bunch of losers, that's really why I mean, listen, you can't be mad enough being competitive. I'm not mad enough being competitive. Cool. But in a league where there are a bunch of losers who are worse than you, and I feel like there's only now some buddy said Cody Williams. I can see that a little bit more. But in my mind, I'm thinking of one player only for the Grizzlies. That's Sar. You would need another big man to get next to Triple J. I understand Brandon Clark's going to come back, but I don't see Brandon Clark as a real 5. So I would say Sar was the perfect fit for if you're having a bad year, a guy that you can get into your system, come back next year, and be straight. But, I mean, listen, they can get somebody else, they can get a 3, they can get a wing. They can be more than just Sar. And I think Sar is going top 4. Honestly, he shouldn't go past 2, but top 4 at the very least. And I'm like, all right, Wizards, Pistons, Hornets, and you said there are 6, so there's 2 more teams. San Antonio. There are teams that are literally going to have better odds than you. I was just saying, maximize your odds and get the guy that you absolutely need. But
Pistons had the best odds and fell to 5, so the lottery, anything can happen. They can still get the number 1 pick.
They really can. They really can.
So, right. They can still get the number 1 pick, and then it looks like a genius move that they ended up where they did. So we'll have to see for the draft lottery.
SMN RNDM says, so if the Pelicans get 6 because of BI injury, who gets the 5th seed?
I got Dallas.
Well, I guess it could be Phoenix.
Phoenix schedule is gonna get tough.
Does it? Let me take a look.
Phoenix schedule is
San Antonio, Denver, OKC, New Orleans, Cleveland, Minnesota, Phoenix, New Orleans again, the Clippers back-to-back, the Kings, and the T-Wolves. That is a very tough schedule.
Phoenix might drop. Like Phoenix have a very tough schedule to end the season.
Almost every single one of these teams, except the Spurs, are playoff teams.
Yeah. Phoenix have a very
might get tough out there.
Brian Holiday said, do you think the G League would be better if the clubs were independent?
No.
I think the G League would be better if the NBA actually put NBA money in the G League. I think the G League would be better if the NBA took the product serious. I think the G League would be better if they changed the culture knowingly. Same thing with the WNBA. The last 2 years, the culture of the WNBA honestly has changed, and the attention has changed. Do the same thing with the G League.
Ray Starr said, greatest defender to never make all defense. Can't use Sean Marion or Wes Unseld.
Greatest defender to never make all defense. Jonathan Isaac. What are we talking about? What are we talking about right now? Jonathan Isaac. Easy.
All right. Styles Black said, Damo spitting. Cal literally told guards not to give Cat the ball unless he had 1 foot in the paint. Cal ain't turning any player loose.
I'll never forgive him for what he did to Scarlett Bissiere.
I never forgave him for how he made me perceive Cat when I was like in school. I remember watching those Kentucky teams in school being like, yo, Holly Stein is that dude. And then Cat gets the league and like literally Cat gets the league and busts the Lakers' ass shooting threes. I'm like, where was this last year? And then I deep dive and was like, oh, Calipari is limiting these centers. Like he does not let them do what they can do.
If you're a finesse big, don't go to Kentucky.
And he recruits you. If you're the best finesse big, he's recruiting you and then telling you, "Hey, buddy, we don't need that. We don't need that."
Man, Skylar Bissell would be in the league right now if he ain't go to Kentucky. I swear he would.
All right, y'all. Last super chat of the day from Cameron Johnson. He said Kendrick came at Drake and J. Cole directly.
Nice. He don't want Cole to spit back because in that man's career, stop it.
I don't know why you mad at him anyway.
All right, y'all. I got a few members I want to shout out before we get up out of here. Dub Nation 101, Shepherd Sounds, Miracle Arrow, John Marbury, Daryl 612 all became members today. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody that's liked the video. Shout out to all of our subscribers. Damo, where you gonna be at later?
On my stream. Oh, I'm sorry. No, playback tonight. 10:30. Laker game. My fault. A little late. My fault. Yeah, we gonna be on playback tonight, man. Real Hoops is back. I know we watching the Laker game, but you know me. We gonna really deep dive into the intricacies of real basketball tonight.
Y'all tap in. Hey, Wes, appreciate you for coming through, bro.
Hey, appreciate you, man. I had a great time.
All right, we out of here. Hey, y'all.